Derivative Dill. Welcome to Jill's.
All right, that's enough of that shit. Let's get this show on the road.
Hello and welcome to Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 201. And today we're going to talk about the season finale of For All Mankind, called This Land is Our Land. And we're going to talk about that today with Philip. Hello, Philip. How are you doing today?
Hey, Jill. Doing well.
Good.
We're looking forward to talking about the finale, and hope everyone listening at home is doing well.
Oh, yeah, me too. And so we've also got some people in the chat to help us talk about the episode too. We've got Jamie, whose birthday it was this week. Hello to Jamie and happy birthday.
Belated.
Yeah, belated. And DJ Play Nice, thank you for stopping in last night to send these important messages, to share out the show, to send it to a friend, or share it on your community tab. And make sure your subscription is active and the bell is set to all. And to reload the show and leave a comment. Those comments really do help. That's true. But that'll come later. For now, we're going to talk about the episode. And we've got also Snorted Poopus, Q Burr. He's also here too. Wonderful. Good to see you. He also says, happy birthday, Jamie. And hello to Gavin Unit. Gavin Unit. Good to see you. And also here is Canadian Spider-Man. Bioluminescence is incredible. I saw electric blue in the waves on Little Corn Island, Nicaragua, and green with yellow in Halong Bay near Hanoi. He's actually seen it in real life. Wow.
Yeah, there used to be some, or at least what I was told, I think a couple of years back, there was a big bioluminescence bloom over here in San Diego and Long Beach. And they tell us not to touch it because it's usually toxic, but it is quite the thing to see.
Yeah. Well, and we shall see it this episode, obviously, and maybe that's a bit little too on the nose for my thumbnail. I should take the bio out, but I might do that later. And it's good to see everybody, and we're going to talk about the episode now. But first, I got to bring up the slides because I have not done that. And I've got to resize this, so just give me a moment to make it. Like I should have done this before the stream.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep. Got it. Now let's share our screen so we can see these lovely GUIs that were made for the show. I like the maps and everything going on. And yeah, there. We want it like this. And so there you go. Yeah, so this is where we start. And we'll flip between the two. And so this episode first aired last week on Apple TV on May 29th. And it's the 10th episode. Wait a minute. Is that right? Yes. This land is our land. And I can kind of hear myself echoing just a little bit. Or is your
No, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but yeah, I'm not having any trouble hearing you.
Okay. I can hear myself echoing a bit. So if you can turn down your volume just like a hair, maybe I won't be able to.
I don't know. I don't think it's coming from my end. I don't. You're coming across pretty clear, unless I am.
Oh, unless I
Because
have
I
it
have you on, I
playing.
have you on headphones, so you're not.
Yeah, I shouldn't hear you then.
Yeah.
See, uh-oh. Hold on. I'm getting a message from my communications device.
That's all right.
Okay.
You're a communicator.
Yeah. Yes, my daughter's coming home from a trip to her cousin's.
Okay.
Just a moment. Okay. That's all sorted. Hopefully, I hear my phone when that happens. Unfortunately, that means you may hear phone sounds every once in a while. I normally mute my phone, but
Mm-hmm.
in this case, I have to fix
No, that's
that.
fine. Even the communicators on Star Trek ring from time to time, or they buzz. So,
So, of course, this is the season finale, and the synopsis is basically the resilience of Mars is put to the test. And that's true. And hello, it's Old Man Bird. Da, 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 da. Thank you so much, Old Man Bird, for your donation to my PayPal. The $100. I will be reviewing the notebook sometime next month is when I'm going to schedule that in. And so this was a pretty strong ending, I think. And
Mhm.
because I had some problems with some of the middle of gosh, I wish I couldn't hear. Maybe is that echo might be coming from one of my tabs. Let me make sure everything's muted on my side.
It's possible. I mean, like I said, I'm on headphones, so you shouldn't be hearing anything but me on this side. I am coming through clearly on your end, I hope.
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. Yeah, you shouldn't be hearing any echo from you on my stuff. So,
Oh, okay. Oh no, Twitch isn't working today. That's okay. I don't really care about Twitch that much.
Hmm.
Let's turn that off. And at least not yet. Hello, Mad G is here. Hello, that's good to see you. And yeah, Mad G, star. And so we're going to talk about the episode, and we have a bit of a time shift, so we kind of go back to the last episode. Some of the episode 10 and episode 9 overlap, so some of the events that happened in episode 10 were happening while episode 9 was going on. And so that's just like they both start the same way, in fact, with the Miles giving his announcement over the overhead, over the intercoms. Wishing you a peaceful week in the lead up to an incredible life change to Canadian Spider-Man. Ah, that is such a nice sentiment. That's true. Yeah, he is changing, he's moving, and he's got it. He's finishing his accounting. Lots of great things coming up for Canadian Spider-Man. And I like that this map that they show. It's the one they use throughout the episode to delineate where they are, and it shows all the points of invasion from the Marines. But after the terror of the last episode, I was hoping for some kind of relief, but it doesn't exactly happen that way. As you go, I mean, not right away anyway.
Yeah.
And so the governor has a small human moment here. You know, he cares about his family, so he's he's worried about Miles. And so they talk strategy about how to deal with the Marines. And yeah, right. So Miles says that the HVC are trying to save people, but they don't have the numbers, they don't have the guns, they don't have the weapons, and they don't even have communication. So everything is looking pretty grim in terms of the takeover. It just seems like the Marines are going to close in and take over Moxie, but there is one thing that he says that they have on their side, which is that this is their home.
Mhm.
And we have Bone here. Hello, Bone. Bone
Mm.
is at work. Can't stay. Leaving a like on the stream. That is too sweet. Thank you for dropping by and leaving a like. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good day at work. And so Lee also explains that he can tell that the Marines are converging on Moxie. Yes, so that's their main goal. They're gonna invade there. And so we've got Arena giving some advice to Miles. She's seen conflicts like this before, and she says that they've got to make a change with their strategy because if they just need to hold out for a little while, and the Soviet Union's going to come and I guess rescue them or something.
Or
And
whatever succeeds the Soviet Union.
yeah, to move things politically to make all of this stop.
Mhm.
And so Miles asks Aleda about the communication satellites, but she's really frustrated with everything. She's saying that it's not just the Marines that are causing all this violence; that they did it too. That everybody's culpable, everybody's responsible, even her. And I guess mostly she wasn't, except maybe I guess you could say she helped with 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 the launch of that ship that went to go blow up the mining platform. So if she wants to bear any responsibility, I guess that's the only thing I can even think of
Mhm.
that comes close.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Yeah, I think at this point it's pretty much like if the Marsies can hold on just enough, then all of these little pieces will lock into place. And
Mm-hmm.
that was like the prevailing opinion.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do think it's I did have a feeling that there was another shoe that was about to drop, so that it seemed like in the last episode things were a little bit like we were missing something, and so having these scenes come up and kind of fill in the gaps was definitely reassuring, because I was actually hoping that the writers actually, you know, had that in mind, and they weren't kind of just leaving these just like giant gaps in place. But the way it kind of unfolded, I think, was very effective in how it filled in these gaps and made things a little bit more cohesive. It made things feel a little bit more, um, like it wasn't like a last minute decision. It was like they actually planned all this out, and there was actually it lets the Marsies look a little bit smarter, and that they were actually kind of like trying to goad the M6 troops into the corner that they were ultimately trying to lead them towards. So I like that it wasn't so much like it was more one sided last episode, but this time we see the other side of it, and it looks a little bit more like this was sort of like they might not have been equally armed or equally as manned, but there was still a fair amount of pushback from the Marsies.
Yeah, episode 9 was very confused and chaotic because we were given the perspective of the kids, the teenagers, or
Yeah.
were just in the front lines, just trying to deal with and to show the catastrophic effects of being in front of a superior fighting force, but they're not
Mhm.
superior when they don't know where they are. And so they
Yeah.
have all these maps, as we're going to see throughout the episode, but they start to question their own maps because as you said, the Marsies are cornering them in by confusing them because they're not on their home territory.
Mhm.
And so they can trick them, like Looney Tunes changing the sign, like the Roadrunner or whatever. It's
Mhm.
just it works.
Simple but effective.
Hmm. And one quote here, she says, "It's easy to start a war, but it's almost impossible to stop one." And so and so she's focusing on trying to get the satellites back up so that she can tell Titan how to exit to come back to Mars to the right trajectories and everything so that they can do that. And if she can't establish communications, they're not going to have those numbers that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so they're changing the signs. And then Lee gives them the idea of the perfect ambush location. So this is where we find out exactly where the standoff is going to be at the end of the episode, which is going to be on Main Street, or what do they call it? The economic district or something like that.
I mean,
Business
some of us,
district.
I'm just going to go ahead and call it the promenade.
You know what? Yes, I'm going to allow it.
Mhm.
That's right. So, but Lee also figures out that they can that just well, actually Gerardo talks about what they did in Jamestown, which was to take the pressure out of the modules to force the Marines to go the way they want them to go, which is something they do.
Mhm.
And then Lee suggests that they have to take out the command. So that they start plans on that. And so let's see what we have on the slides, because we've got to do them separately now. There it is. And oops, no, I don't want to do that. All right, so right, they took over the Hopper landing pads. Interesting. And so that's what we've already talked about Aleda and her feelings about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been trying to stay neutral, but it's almost impossible to do that in this kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee says this is the best spot for the ambush.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we get the governor offering himself as bait
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to take out the command, because, well, and this is wonderful because this was from the last episode where they were, where we didn't really know if the governor had switched sides again, or if, well, we were pretty sure he was still on the side of Mars, but there was a bit of a question there because of the confusion of the situation.
Yeah, I think I pointed out, or I kind of clocked that it seemed like they were kind of telegraphing the fact that, like, Gerardo, didn't quite like the governor to begin with, but now it's like even more to the fact that now the governor's going to betray them again. And yeah, I kind of knew that was not going to really be what was going to happen. It was like going to be a sort of a misdirection.
His outrage is somewhat convincing, and so that's what threw the doubt in just a little.
Yeah, I mean it's good enough, and I think I preferred to have had that doubt in the moment last episode rather than to have it all removed in that episode instead. So I like that they kept it and that we get this reveal now instead of earlier.
It was definitely more fun this way. Not that what they're doing is fun. It's horrifying what they're about to do. Yeah. With the governor, when the governor gets to command and how he takes them all out is frightening. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna see what that is in just a little while, because we've got to get through to just see the picture show for a second. And okay, now that's the title screen. Toby Kebbell, Mirieli Ennis, Eddie, Kathy, Cynthia Wu, Coral Pena, Costa Ronan, Sean Coughlin, Ruby Cruz, Inez. I got a phone call. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, as I'll be taking the con now, so it's probably a good place to kind of have had this happen, because now we're kind of in this transition point between the intro and the rest of the episode. So essentially what we're about to see is the conclusion of a bunch of separate threads, because we have these three major elements that have kind of defined the entire season. So we have the events on Mars with the budding independence movement, and then we have the thread that there might be life on Titan, and so we're going to see how that gets resolved. And then we have the final thread, which is sort of kind of a combination of these things, where it's like we have Dev and what his whole relationship is to not only that movement, but also what that might mean for Titan. So I think that all three threads are kind of braided well enough through this episode, and solved in a fashion that I think is very effective. And so I think by the end of this episode, I was very excited to see where we are going to be at for the next season. And now I have kind of an idea what season 6 will be about. I remember a few episodes back in our review, we were kind of concerned that, what would the basic thesis of season 6 actually be? We know that they want to get to the present, but we don't know exactly what that's going to mean, or what the present will actually be like, or what it'll look like in terms of story. But now we have kind of an idea, so we'll see. Jill?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for filling in. And yeah, definitely very, very interesting episode. I just want to catch up over here. I like this most recent chat. Promenade. Does Quark run a bar there? No, but he does.
There's a Domino's there.
And
a Starbucks coming.
Starbucks, yeah. Canadian Spider-Man says, well, it's a busy week for sure. With all the prep and a couple of local repair jobs, there's a small repair that my little sailboat needs too. Lots to do. Thanks so much for the support. Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. Make sure to keep on top of repairing your sailboat. You can, yeah, you got to keep that safe. That's really good. And Matchie's giving us some coffee. That's exactly what I needed. Thank you. I need more of that. Written by Matt Wolpert, Ben Nadivi, and Kira Snyder. So, and directed by Sergio Mamika Gezin.
That's of Battlestar Galactica fame, actually. So
nice.
Should have expected what happens would happen, because they seem to bring him in when it's like very action-oriented episodes.
And there's a lot in this episode, and we start off though with a little exposition. When they want to just do an exposition dump, they'd give us a news report, and so that this works out. No, I need to give you your bacon Canadian Spider-Man. I need to fix the bot so it'll respond to that. I don't have that working right now. Yeah, so it's just talking about the troops, all the stuff that we know about. So they're catching us up basically with all of that, and just to have a little bit of Earth perspective, because you don't really get the perspective from Earth a whole lot in this season.
Yeah,
and how the countries are dealing with this, and a lot of people don't like what the M6 is doing. And they're all coming together and saying, no, we don't like this. We want peace or whatever. And so, but their M6 isn't budging at this particular moment. And so, but at least it underscores a disagreement that a lot of the Earth doesn't like what's happening, the invasion that's happened. And it's a setup for the eventual breakaway of the Soviet Union, which they've been teasing for a few episodes now. And so, and of course, the Soviet Union will have to either it's going to fall, or it's drastically going to shift from the policies of the current president. And so, yeah, it should not be so communist, basically. And hello to Herc130. Hey, how are you? Great to see you. And basically, I was worried this whole season that they were going to make the U.S. some kind of ultimate villain or something. But eventually we find out that, no, you know what? They are capable of diplomacy. Or even if we don't see it on screen, it happens off screen. everything's off screen with
I
Earth.
mean,
We don't get the perspective of Earth precisely, but if they weren't capable of change, then what it
I mean,
wouldn't have ended the way that it did.
outside of like a couple of things, like sending the Marines as part of, the
Mhm.
off-planet expeditionary force and the threats made by Bragg, both NASA and the United States have been largely like non-entities this season.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind
they're
of
just
fascinating.
amorphous.
Yeah.
Like even when we do hear of an interaction, which we will later with Graciana trying to get some information, it's just
Mhm.
like no, they're just stonewallers, so it's almost like they don't exist.
I mean, this episode we do know that NASA does exist. We just don't know in what form that it does. And
Mhm.
that to me is fascinating. So I'm hoping that we actually, so basically this whole season we saw nothing from NASA, but I'm hoping next season we get an idea of what, you know, status they're at um, in the
Mhm.
future and see, if they're still in the game. Because it seems like, because the third space race, we call it, is essentially, was only between like two corporations that were acting not on behalf of their home countries, but just on behalf of themselves. I mean, yeah, Kurgan was like the Soviet sponsored one, but they were still their own kind of entity. And then Helios is an American company, but it's not doing things on behalf of the American government. So, yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a fourth space race, but it seems like um, things are no longer just based in the national sort of level. It's kind of moving beyond that. And I think that's kind of a fascinating shift. And we're kind of moving toward what I think later on will be. I was calling it the Free Martian Republic at one point, and then a bunch of the Expanse people who know about the Martian government that's in that show, where it's like the Martian Congressional Republic. They're kind of trying to say that this is like the beginnings of that, and we have no idea because they don't actually name the Martian state that's they're trying to fight for or even get to. For all we know, it could just be Happy Valley, and that's just the Republic of Happy Valley. But
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do make draw the parallels to the Expanse, and you
yeah,
can
I
do
mean,
that.
I can see some of the DNA and stuff, but I would really hope that that's where it's like that's pretty much just aesthetics. It's not anything more than that, and you can like you know weld the canon onto each other without like being so explicit. Because I mean, the Expanse is not the most positive vision of the future, and so I think that
Right.
kind of runs
Oh,
counter
there we are.
to
Look at that.
what Ronald D. Moore and everybody else were trying to do with this show, which is like eventually get us to like a Star Trek adjacent optimistic future.
I
So
think that's more where they're headed in terms of
yeah,
bringing just the idea of the M6 of a bunch of countries coming together to do such a big thing together is
mhm,
already showing a more united Earth, even though it's still fragmented. It's
mhm,
just, a eventual convergence of ideals that we're in it together as a planet, and
yeah,
that is what would send us to eventual Star Trek
mhm.
universe.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of different in the sense that it's not. I mean, most science fiction does this thing where it's a multinational effort led by like the United Nations, and For All Mankind is different in that the multinational entity is just a multinational entity built around trying to make Mars happen,
Mhm.
and I find that very fascinating. But we'll see exactly
Yeah.
where that goes next season. But obviously, we don't get an answer this season about what
No.
that's going to be because it seems like at least when they were having the conversation or what Irina and everybody were mentioning, it's like they're thinking that when the Soviet Union leaves the M6, that the M6 will completely dissolve. And I think that tracks because the Soviet Union leaves, it becomes the M5, which is also a Star Trek reference. But uh,
Oh, nice.
I don't necessarily think that's going to happen because if that happens, then there's also like this Soviet consortium of different communist countries that are also a part of it. So I don't think they'd stay in. I think they'd also pull out, in which case it would pretty much only have four countries as part of it. So I think it would probably destabilize and it would or just become something else entirely. But um, I kind of think we're heading toward a situation where it's going to be an Earth-Mars deal, not so much, a bunch of nations on Earth trying to compete for something. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they're a long way from that. There's no way they're going to get there in 2020, but the seeds are planted for it.
I wasn't sure we would be trying to, push a like a full-on Martian state at this point, but apparently that has occurred.
Yeah, right away.
So I don't.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. We'll see.
Gavin says Earth strong. So, and everybody's saying hello. Earth is great. Mars is great. Oh yeah, you're great. I am great. Yeah, because you mentioned M5, you triggered that.
Yeah. I've triggered the Gavin unit. Yeah.
You are great. I am great.
It's true.
Okay, so we've got. Okay, so we're going back in time, back to the last episode. We're not. There's no time traveling. Just to be clear, no time traveling for all mankind. But
yeah, hopefully not.
Going back to the last episode, where the governor is giving himself up, and now we know for sure that he is bait for a Martian trick. They're playing on the Marine, and the governor is taken to headquarters basically, and it works. And he puts on his tracker so that they in Moxie they can locate him, and Arena and Miles can see where he is. So that's basically all. That's the setup for this particular next thing that we're doing here. With that, and thank God this nightmare is over. Yeah, so that fools everybody.
Yeah.
And there's the tracker. I like that little map, very detailed. And so we get set up with Titan again. And they're coming for you, Philip.
Oh, you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
There was actually somebody ran into the next door neighbor's house yesterday morning, and I'd never seen something quite like it before. Like somebody reversed at full speed into their house, and I saw it happen live, and I was like, "Whoa!" It was like some older fellow, and I was like, "Never seen that happen before." But
right into the house.
Yeah.
I've had somebody come to my neighborhood and smash right into a parked car, but not into a house.
That's interesting. Yeah, the parked car came out of nowhere, but yeah, I don't know. It was very strange to see, but
so did the house.
Hopefully nothing like that repeats itself today. I think we're safe, but yeah, every once in a while you hear some kind of a fire engine or a cop car, in which case it is probably coming from my end. We have we're along a very active street, so that's just
that's fair enough. I was just playing with it. Oh no, yeah. I'm getting a phone call. I gotta step away again. I'll be right back.
All right. So anyway, back at it again. So this is kind of interesting. This is kind of an aside. I guess we'll just make these asides. But I was kind of thinking, when we pick up next season, I'm kind of curious to see if Titan becomes a colony of Mars or just like a settlement of it, because it seems like the track is Mars is going to be self-sufficient and independent, but with that happening, it's also going to have the weight of having to be that nation that's going to make a difference. So in a way, it gets back to what Joe was saying earlier, where the nations of Earth will be united in whatever effort it takes to influence or try to control Mars in some way or another. And, it'll be up to the Martian Council or whoever runs the government at that time to kind of see where, in the grand scheme, that's going to go. But I think what is going to be interesting eventually will be to see how this kind of evolves over time and see how Mars tries to become that nation state that makes a difference in the solar system, and it's not trying to make the same mistakes as Earth nations do. But I think it's unavoidable, because if anything, I think For All Mankind has shown us that Even though we do have these high-minded goals of like, we're going to go to space, we're going to go do these things, and we're going to go out there for the betterment of all mankind, but we're still human, and we still bring those things that make us human along with us, for better or worse. And I think that's still an optimistic message, because I mean, if we go out there and we don't do these things, and we don't go out there as humans, as imperfect as we are, then are we really going out there as a shared humanity sort of thing? But I kind of think that there's going to be a race to Titan, because there was already a race to get to Titan, but now it's going to be a race to see where this life is, or a maybe an informal race. I don't think there'd be a fourth space race in this show, but you never know. But I think Titan in real life is actually the grand prize for our space exploration efforts, because I think that the stuff around Jupiter is a little too radiated for us. Like, we can't, if we find life on Europa, we could never really communicate with it, because everything, by what most people are saying, most metrics are suggesting that any life on Europa is going to be probably subterranean, subsurface ocean based. So the odds of them, or whatever life there, if it exists, being capable of designing or building complex spacecraft is probably nil. But it would still be something to discover that life can basically exist anywhere, and we'll get to that in a few minutes with sort of the discovery of what they find on Titan, and how Kelly and Walt and everybody kind of push that along. But I think, going back to the real life example, Titan is the grand prize, because I think everything's a stepping stone to Titan, and then beyond that, the eventual goal is to hit up deep space and the stars. So I would hope that that's kind of the track we go with, and that's where we end up, because that's kind of the premise of the entire show, where it's sort of the idea that we're going to go to the moon, we're going to go to Mars, we're going to go to Saturn, to the stars, deep space, the galaxy. And that's kind of the whole direct quote from Gene Kranz in the first episode, which I find also very interesting. I'll probably circle back to that if we have enough time. But I am doing my own little review of the spinoff, excuse me, of For All Mankind, called Star City. Now it's kind of talking about the USSR side of the space race, kind of the run up to them going to the moon, and then whatever happened a little bit afterwards. So it's kind of the Russian side of season one, but I don't think it's that cut and dry. I think there's actually a little bit more dynamic things going on in that season, and I think it's actually pretty good, at least judging by the first two episodes. So I think when I do my review, we're going to do the first three, because we're a little bit behind, because I didn't want to start anything new until the start of the month, and it's only been a couple of days since we started the month, so there's that. But yeah, we'll do that on Friday or maybe Monday. I was trying to say they're trying to invite Jill on. I don't know if she'll be joining us for that, but it would be lovely if she did. But outside of that, yeah, I think the pathway for us right now is kind of difficult, because I mean, Jared Isaacman is running NASA at the moment. I'm actually kind of impressed with what he's trying to do with everything at NASA, but we'll have to find out exactly what in the grand scheme that turns out to be like. But can everyone hear me? Just trying to make sure, because I think I lost Jill in the imagery. Hopefully she pops back in soon. I don't have the capacity to, at least I don't think I do. I don't think I have the capacity to add her back to the stage, but looks like she's back.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much for covering for me while I was away. I
Yeah.
had to my daughter came back from a trip with a cousin, and so she's back home now.
Oh, wonderful.
And so of course I had to socialize just a little, but
Mhm.
we're all good
Good,
now.
good. That's great.
Thank you
I was just trying to
here.
kind of bring up the stuff on Titan and sort of what I'm going to do over on my side with Star City.
Oh, good idea.
So
Good idea.
yeah,
Yeah,
mhm.
and I'll have you fill me in on that later. We got
Yeah.
Gorilla's random thoughts here, Kapla.
Mhm. Success.
And yeah. So I'm back. Yes, success. And space seems to be in a mess at the moment with NASA and private companies. Well, yeah, that's exactly what Ramen kind of wanted to bring out to the forefront and just show the success that the private companies could have in expanding our
I mean,
exploration.
yeah, I mean, at the moment, we don't have somebody like Dev just yet. Um, Somebody like that could be emerging pretty soon. There's elements of him that you can kind of pull from like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos,
Yeah,
but I
that's
think
what I think.
ultimately Dev is his own character, especially since I think he's because of the discovery of Goldilocks and all the Kuznetsov station. I think he's pretty much either one of the only trillionaires in the solar system at this point, or pretty close.
Well, that's
So
what happens when you
yeah,
discover fusion power. It's like gotta
I mean he's
forget.
got a lot of
You
things
gotta
going on
remember.
for him
It's hard to forget something that big,
because I
and
think that
that's
puts
why
him on
it
a whole nother
disappoints.
level.
Yeah, that's why it disappoints me how he's been acting this season. But we'll get there. We'll
Yeah,
get there.
that that's the other thread I was mentioning earlier. So
Hmm.
the stuff with Dev we're gonna get to.
Yeah, what's gonna happen? Let's see if there was something else here. Yeah. Yep. So we're back on Titan again as far as the narrative goes, and Kelly
Mhm.
is they're trying to contact Happy Valley, and Walt is taking care of Elena's injury, which doesn't even look that bad. You know what? I have to bring that up because
Mm,
I thought that this is an insanely cold world. Oh, right. I'm not sharing my slides anymore.
yeah.
Um, Here. So look at this. This seems like if if I hurt my leg and we're exposed to minus, what are the temperatures? 100 or more degrees? I think I think it might look a little worse than it. Oh, I didn't get a picture of the injury because I've been not wanting
Mm,
to put gruesome stuff on there, but it's not even that bad. It kind of just looks like a minor cut or whatever. I don't know. It
I
seems a
mean,
little unbelievable that I wasn't that bad.
as somebody who's been
Older
hit
than
with
my ex-wife.
maybe no, but I think when I got hit with liquid nitrogen a couple of times that I've had it,
Mhm.
obviously you're not being hit with it at like a high rate for very long, but I think a sustained sort of hit to it can definitely like damage things around it, make it a little bit more difficult to get around. So maybe the wound itself doesn't look like much, but it could like the damage itself um, is probably a lot worse than it actually looks. But um, yeah, because I mean that's like super cryo burn stuff. So
Exactly.
I would say that the injury is probably it's one of those things where it's like I mean there's this discourse on Reddit about it where everybody was talking about how the obvious person to leave behind was Elena, and I'm like, uh,
She's the one that they don't even consider in the episode that she's just like, I should stay behind because I'm hurt, and they're like, even though she would use extra oxygen because of her injury. In fact, the injury itself reduced their oxygen by a day somehow, and so they need to return to Sojourner really pretty soon.
mhm.
And yeah, and so it's just lucky that she can walk at all, basically.
Yeah,
And
because
but Philip,
they don't have the proper stuff to treat it. I think is the whole thing. But yeah,
gotcha. So can you remind me why? the Titan mission is so low on oxygen, even though this whole thing was supposed to be set up as a trip that could take many, many months.
Well, I think
And
the idea is that the stuff on the rover and the little like lab thing, like I don't think that's meant to be out there for that long. Like you have to go in and restock the oxygen. But
okay,
that's the whole conversation. It's like you know, there's just enough for them to make the trek back to Sojourner now because they're far enough out that that's going to be the consideration. But also now that on their trek back, there's too many of them to sustain what oxygen they do have. So yeah, they could easily go back, get more oxygen, come back, but by the time they come back, there'll be at least one person who's been, who will succumb to suffocation. So it's one of those
okay.
like trolley car problems where it's like, in order to save two, you're gonna have to get rid of one. So yeah, it's tough.
Well, and that's the ultimate decision. We get to the end of the episode, but I can't wait. This
Yeah.
whole oxygen thing really bugs me, especially because they have enough oxygen in 2 suits to make it, but not 3. So for the third one, why is there not a way to siphon the oxygen from the lab or the rover to make the return trip into the suits?
It depends on. I would assume that the energy it would take to siphon the oxygen would just use up the same oxygen that you're going to need to siphon. So I would say that it'd probably be best to do it the way they ultimately did it, but we're not quite there just yet. But
I know. I just couldn't. It's just one of those things. So the Titan stuff is what I'm most interested in this entire episode. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in all of it because I'm digging. I mean, right now I'm eating well with this show because it's like, I'm down with the Martian independence thing. I want to see how that, I wanted to see how that went out, and then I wanted to see the stuff on Titan. I wanted to see how they rounded the circle with Dev. So I was pleased this season. I mean, we'll get to our final thoughts at the very, very end, I hope. But from this scene, because I think we're somewhere, because they haven't quite discovered. No, they're at the point where they're at the precipice of discovering the big thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Elena is saying, I'm wondering if those Stolens are affecting our electronics, like they did the Seeker, which is also a foreshadowing to what's going to happen later in the episode to the rover. And so
yeah. I mean, it's an interesting thing.
And then as you said, Kelly is testing a new sample that she's gotten from when she went to go get Elena from the top of the hill. And this makes Walt really furious. How did he not know? Why did she hide this? How did she hide this? And why is she always trying to be subversive to her crew members? She always wants to hide things and not tell the truth.
Well, she's a rebel, a risk taker. She's basically a space cowboy, but
Okay. But yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, that makes sense for when she changed their trajectory to get to Titan. But here, it doesn't really make much sense to hide the sample, because what is that going to do? It made him mad either way. It's not like he was going to destroy the sample or anything.
Up to a point, I don't think Walt is impressed with how Kelly conducts herself as a professional, but I don't think he can argue necessarily with her results. And that's the
but he still doesn't even know about the sabotage, and he never will. And so he's going to think for the rest of his life that he's the one who put this mission at risk, and that if he would have done things better, Kelly might be alive. So he might blame himself this entire time when Kelly never told him the freaking truth.
Yeah, I wonder if we see his character next season, how he's like in an insane asylum next season. No, but I mean, I think that it's kind of one of those other because it's this or it's that rather, and then it's the fact that I don't think Ed ever found out that Karen was
exactly. It's the same kind of
Danny, with bad Danny.
Same kind of secret The same secret that Ed never figured out. Bad Danny. There's good Danny and bad Danny.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean it's weird how not weird, but it's like interesting how that's the one parallel between the two is like there was a secret that no one ever found out about. The only people who know is the audience.
Yeah,
But
and then there's that other secret. There's a few secrets like Miles giving up his friends. I mean, but it was under the duress of torture, so I don't know how angry people are going to be about that. But anyway, so anyway, Walt's upset, and but at that moment that he's trying to rescind her command, they find life. So he's like, "Oh, you know what? I take it back. I take it back. No, you can't do that." But then it's there. It's there. They find the life, and they all cheer and they're all excited and everything, of course. But that is, I don't know. I I kind of wanted some character development for Walt that we didn't get this season. He just kind of stayed the same.
I mean, I was kind of hoping that they would do a thing where it would basically he never like either she does reveal what she did, and then Walt would have to take like a step back and realize that all of this stuff that led them to the discovery of life was based on risk, taking a lot of risk and not trying to just do things cautiously. And I thought that would have been interesting because then his character would have changed a little bit because then he would have realized that maybe there is some value to taking some risk. Maybe not 100% of the risk all the time, but just a little bit because it will get you, some kind of it'll get you something that you wouldn't have got otherwise.
That would have been character growth. That would have been great.
Yeah.
And then
I
he
kind of
could
have a feeling
use
they're saving
that.
that for next season, but I'm not sure.
Well, maybe, but I mean, he could have used that momentum to save Kelly somehow, do something crazy. Do like I was expecting some kind of something, some kind of
Improvisation.
Yeah, something.
I mean,
But no,
I was
we got
kind of
nothing.
thinking. I mean, it was kind of like that. I mean, I don't think that.
And it's
the way
almost
they
like they
have-
don't really want us to like Walt that much.
I mean, maybe. I kind of feel like they're kind of preparing him for something later on, but I'm not entirely sure what that would be.
Yeah.
But for Kelly's situation, it kind of seems like her arc has a very a good finality to it when you consider everything that's going to just happen to her. So there's a lot of people online that are very, of two minds on this. They're like either okay with what happens to her, or they're completely like trying to like end a Stranger Things, or they're like trying to rewrite it.
Yeah, I think I'm in. I think it's there's a bit of missing pieces to what happens to Kelly that leave me a little bit unsatisfied.
I mean, I'm a little concerned if the one camp is right and they go a certain route with her, but judging by what the showrunners have said, I don't think that's the route they're going to go with.
Oh no, I think she's her fate that you see on screen is exactly what is telegraphed. Yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah, because I think that there's some people in the
we'll get there.
They're trying to overlap with the Expanse, and they're trying to say that she's going to encounter a little proto molecule, and that's going to keep her alive for the next several years until the next season. And I'm like,
that would be so weird. That's too magic, and For All Mankind's not supposed to be magic.
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to be what happens. I think that what you're seeing pretty much this entire episode is exactly like on its face what it like the face value is true. All this other wishful thinking is a little too like, I don't know. It's like verging on fantasy, and it's like it's not what this show does. So it bends physics here and there, but it still operates within reality.
I agree.
It still operates within reality.
So we've got the figures of the insurgency. My favorite thing about this poster is we finally figure out what her name is. I didn't know what her name is, and it's difficult to figure it out. It's
Yeah,
Fumiko Yoshida. Yeah, Fumiko Yoshida. It's been killing me that I didn't know her name for the past few episodes because she seemed important. She was saying useful things.
Yeah, I
And
kind of
yet,
think
I
that
didn't know what her
she's
freaking
going to
name
be
was.
more important later. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, everybody else, either like Veronica Hunt and Mom Maud has her. They don't really say a whole lot. Silvio does. Like Silvio, they've said his name, and everybody
Well, he's the
knows
one that got taken
Dimitri.
out
Yeah.
last episode. But yeah.
Right.
So
And Ilya's captured in this
and
episode.
now, yeah, right in a couple of minutes, he's going to be popping up in there, and
Yes.
that was surprising because that definitely added some tension, and I wasn't expecting that. But there was a moment there where I thought they were going to actually take him out, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. And so the last episode was an extermination of the Happy Valley residents by the Marines, but this episode is the reverse. It's where the Happy Valley residents actually inflict a huge I don't know what to call it exactly. They annihilate they
retaliate in a
destroy
way that's
yeah.
probably a war crime, but it's fun. They're
Yes.
the good guys.
Yeah, that's right. So they're trying not to look like terrorists, and this kind of hurts that just a little bit, I think.
It makes things a lot
And that's
more
an understatement.
complicated, but in a realistic way, because I think that in times of war, you're going to have to make some very difficult decisions, and sometimes those decisions will lead to a lot of death. But it takes a certain kind of person to make that decision. And then, I mean, it surprised me that when it happened, the person who pulls the trigger, you know, he's quick to do it, but he doesn't he immediately regrets it, but he understands that it's what you do in a. I mean, I think
Well,
that's why Elena was kind
they
of fine
had
with it.
to for some way even the playing field,
Yeah.
and taking out the command, I suppose, did that. But also what helped was that a whole bunch of the Marines simply vanished. Like I don't know where they went. If they went on a picnic or something
Well, I
to
think they were just kind of
ice
like
in.
without because I mean, when you slice the head off the snake, you're usually kind of waiting for the rest of the appendages to kind of like fall off.
Or you
But
think they're just like confused? Like most of them are just confused in some other part of the Martian
'cause I
base.
mean, yeah, because I think they were confused not only because of the changed signs, but also there's no leadership that can lead them around. And then to add insult to injury, there's now
And that's why there's only 2 units at the end of the episode.
I think there's supposed to be like 3 or 4, but it looks like it's like 2
Okay.
because you have like one group coming from one side and then the other group coming from the other. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of when they go to the promenade, but we're getting there.
Yes. Yes, so let's get there then. And
But that's a
Governor
great map of the whole thing because it kind of reminds me of the
Yes.
kind of little like chart or organizational chart that they would show because there's been a lot of Iraq War kind
Mhm.
of echoes in this season, and this is another one of them where it's like this is the entire like breakdown of the Marsi uh, council and whoever's leading it, and this is definitely kind of like that.
Yes. That makes sense. And so the governor turns off his little tracker so that they know that he's there, and they start increasing the oxygen in the room because the idea is that they're going to create an electrical spark which will fry everybody or burn everybody up in an inferno. But he only has 5 minutes to leave. And of course he wants to take Ilya with him because he does not want Ilya to be burned up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
But the
basically
problem is Ilya thinks that the governor is a traitor and not
right.
worth trusting. But the irony is that, in fact, no. At this point, the governor is actually very trustworthy.
Yes. Yeah, he has his only goal is to get his family back. And so now he's for Mars, and this is the way it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so Aleda's very disturbed about what's going on, that they're going to burn all of those people. but Arena responds, "People in that room are here to kill us by any means necessary." And Miles agrees with this, but Alita is just very idealistic, and even if they're trying to kill us, that this method of counter-strike is going way too far.
Yeah, I think
And
Eleda is trying to be the good angel on his shoulder.
she says, "You can't lose your humanity." And he responds, "We're fighting for our humanity. That's what this is about." So that's he's made up his mind.
Hmm.
And hello in the chat to Pure Solace. Great to see you today. And let's see, there's nobody's at Rumble today, are they? No. There are 4 people listening over there, but nobody's chatting, so that's okay. I'm glad to have lurkers too.
Yeah.
And so let's see. He's kind of just dragged around, and they're trying to get information from him, and so yeah, and then he says, "Oh, you know what? I know Ilya. I can get it. I can pull information out of him." And so there, he eventually convinces them that he can take Ilya, and it's really down to the wire there.
Yeah, I mean, at first he was like, "You can just take him away," and it's like, "I'll give the orders here, the M6 commander," and then
Mhm.
that you can, see the governor's kind of like, "Damn, can't use that one," and so he has to like pivot to another thing to make sure that they can, or that he can save Ilya, or else he's going to get burned up too. So it's pretty good.
It is. It's pretty exciting, and but also tragic. Like, you don't know any of these people and their stories, their lives, and it's all over for all of them.
And
And Ilya is the most surprised, obviously, at this. He was not expecting that, because he really did think the governor was a traitor.
hmm
And back at Moxie, though, the man there's a, I don't know who it is, what his name is, but he's the one who's supposed to press the button to ignite the spark.
Yeah.
And he can't do it.
hmm
And so Miles has to.
hmm
And he does it, and there's the spark right there.
hmm At the last minute,
place.
the last second.
Yeah. The very last second, he gets Ilya out of there. That look on his face, that's just priceless.
hmm
But it's just so, and everybody, it's heavy. It's heavy. Everybody is regretful of what they've done, but they knew they had to do it, or at least Miles is definitely weighted by it.
hmm
Really, everybody has a reaction. So we've got Margot, and she's got a visitor. So we did come back to Margot. I decided we're going to see her again.
After several episodes, we see her again, and yeah, I was wondering if we were going to actually kind of like square that circle with her as well, because I mean, it did feel kind of like a final ending for her when we last saw her on, when Aleda left Earth, but yeah, I don't know. I think this is kind of setting up kind of an interesting dynamic for later on between her, Graciana, and potentially maybe her history or future at NASA, perhaps. So that
Yeah,
like Margot's kind
right.
of like get us a chance to like train the mom and the daughter in something space related. So I don't
Well,
know. I
yeah,
think
and
that's kind of interesting.
she was well, it's at the end of the episode where she's talking to Graciana about space and everything.
Mhm.
I'm sure we don't get to hear what she's saying, but it wouldn't surprise me if Graciana tries to go that way. And also, now Margot has a new source for tutorials.
Yes, that's the most important thing. But
Mhm.
also, I think that Graciana is the only like younger generation member that's still on Earth at this point.
True.
So
Right, because she's graduating from high school. She's still she was still in the middle of that.
mhm.
And I don't know. I don't really know what her deal is in particular. I know she had some trouble. She was staying out late. She was drinking, and
She was
so
doing
was
the teenage stuff, but
yes.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because I think out of that, because I mean, we have if you look at all the families that we have, all the different people, all the different groups. I mean, we have of the Baldwins, you have Alex, which is essentially the most recent one, and then you have out of the Stevenses, you have Avery, and then we
Yes.
have Aleda. I mean, Margot didn't have any children, although in a way, Aleda and hopefully maybe Graciana, they're kind of like surrogate daughters for her.
Mhm.
So there's that, and
Absolutely.
I think at that point it's pretty much the younger generation are coming up now, and obviously they have to start taking on certain aspects that their parents or grandparents before them had. So yeah, I mean, I think we're in a good space for I think the next generation are pretty.
On the surface, it seems like there's no reason to have these scenes with Margot and Graciana, but for the
Yeah,
reasons you're citing, that's what it is. It's a setup for Graciana to do something in the next season, and also there's an important quote which we'll get to at the end
yeah,
that ties things together.
and I do
And
like that Margot is the one to inspire that in her. I don't like. I wouldn't have liked it any other way. I think that this kind of you know passes the baton on to somebody else as well within that
well,
family.
Leda's already told Graciana a lot about Margot, and so that's why she knows that Margot would be a person who could help her even in
Mhm.
prison. Even in prison, she says you can always figure something out if it's possible.
Yeah,
And she always said you were the smartest person she knew, that there's no problem you couldn't solve. And so that line comes back later. And so
hmm
she asks her for help, and that's the beginning of that. And let's check out the visuals
hmm
for that moment in particular. They have that meeting. NASA wouldn't take the call, so that's not the NASA I knew, right? Because the NASA that Margot knew would not only take the call, but actually invite the person to come over to mission control and come see what's going on yourself.
hmm
And
hmm
they were NASA was a family organization, and
yeah.
something's changed.
Because I think that because President Bragg was kind of like running on this idea, like a very anti-space agenda. So I think that kind of would change the makeup of who he probably picks to run the organization and see whatever their mission plans are. And Bragg has been president for at this point like 8 years, so he's at the end of his presidential life, and now the program is probably irrevocably changed because of that. Because I mean, 8 years of damage, or like if NASA was basically stalled out for that period of time, that's probably done a lot of detriment to the program. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they pick it up again. Because I don't think NASA's out entirely. I think they're just kind of like dormant for the
A
moment.
limbo.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So there's a bit of a problem. So we're getting to the big problem of the episode, because I like this episode too. But
Mhm.
man, is this a big mistake that they've made. When they talk about the life that they found, that's great. This is what I'm here for. This is what I've been
Mhm.
waiting for. And hello to Mark D with the C.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
welcome to the stream. How are you
Howdy.
doing today?
Good. Glad I could make it. I've been lurking while working. So,
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just getting to the fact that they're here on Titan. They've discovered life, and they make the pretty big error saying that they found life different from Earth, but they say it's methane based instead of carbon based, except for the fact that methane is carbon based. And so what they should have said is it's not like life on Earth because it uses methane instead of water.
Oh, I
And
was hoping they said it was a silicon-based life form like a Horta.
yeah, me too. You know what though? There is okay, so to that point, there is that Easter egg at the end in the newspaper. It says something like it does mention Silicon Life. Not that they found it, but that
Oh, it
it's
did on the
possible.
in the very end. I missed
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I
It's
I
a
mean,
tried to
yeah,
pause
because
it to
I
read
sat
it, but
yeah, that's what I
there
did. I paused it, I read it,
and
it's there.
well, in a lot of the like speculative sort of pages of like speculative biology, there's this idea that there could be like at the very, very fringes the possibility of silicon life, but I think most astrobiologists are of the opinion that it's very unlikely that that's possible. But when you look at like the different solvents life could exist in, it could exist in, you know, some kind of hydrocarbon soup like we think is on Titan right now,
yeah.
or water, which is like, it's kind of funny because in Project Hail Mary, there's a whole like plot arc where it's like, well, maybe life isn't like the universal solvent. It's not really a thing. And then there's a joke that kind of plays out in it where it's like, no, I mean, even the thing that's kind of killing the sun is also water based. So that's also interesting. But there's kind of a limited amount of different ways we can kind of explore what kinds of solvents could exist out there. Because I think there's some extremophile life on Earth right now, like that feed off of arsenic, and that's a poison for humans. But
Yep.
historically, we would have thought that it's bad for all life. But in fact, some things thrive, and I think it's true what they say in some circles. I think what has been said in Jurassic Park: life finds a way.
And then Jill, I don't know, you were asking about the oxygen, and I was searching on the interwebs, and they could add another line in there, like we have extra oxygen, pods / containers, but we only have enough for 2 people. Extra oxygen, I think, or oxygen. So they kind of, I was bugging me too. Like they didn't explain it enough. Like they should have said something like, "Oh, well, we have like 4 oxygen containers, but each person needs 2 to get back to the, to walk back." And who,
Would have liked any kind of explanation. Like that would have
yeah,
worked for me. That would have been
I
great. Because
mean,
that's what we're here for, right? It's for the science fiction
I mean,
and
yeah.
it
they
didn't
do
bother
throw
me
us
as
a
much,
bone.
but yeah,
You just wanted
I'm
like
here for
one.
the
I just needed like one line, like
I'm here for the
boom.
dramatics.
Yeah, but I think it was kind of
Because
it's inferred, but
yeah,
sometimes some of us brains we want things literally spelled out for us. But the other thing was the what was happening on Sojourner. You didn't see. Did we get any scenes from them? There was
No,
0, right?
no.
Nothing.
no
So
I
you didn't
mean,
even have
we
them
got
like
like a
trying to
kind of
contact.
communication at the like when they were on the way to it, but
yeah,
that's pretty
Yeah,
much
that
like
it.
was last
you saw
episode.
light. That was the light from the Sojourner flashing, I guess. That was maybe
Yeah,
signaling to
like
help the
a
SOS, yeah,
signal
astronauts see
flash.
where.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, to
Morse code maybe.
yeah,
to
signal
guide
flash
them
and Morse
in.
code.
To
Mhm.
guide them in, but I guess that it did make sense with it because the probe got destroyed, so whatever was near that life, that soup or whatever, was destroying all the probes. So but what a bummer of an ending, though. It was just we know Kelly's not going to come back as a star child, but it was a
Mm.
beautiful ending in that pool. But you're like, oh, they got to find, like, you kept waiting for him to like find a way. I was waiting, like when they left and like the ship was going to flicker on somehow, or the rover or something, but
I mean, somebody went so far as to say on Reddit that she would find something in the hydrocarbons that she could somehow transmute into oxygen.
yeah.
But, you know, I was thinking that would be an energy intensive process, and I don't know how realistic that would be, especially how far she is from the rover, depending on
Well,
how
the
much oxygen she
showrunners,
had. So,
they
and they
confirmed that
confirmed, yeah,
that's it. Yeah, they
yeah,
confirmed it, and the showrunner said that's, which is nice. I shouldn't say nice, but at least they did do that and not be like, oh well, wait to watch next season to see what. So they
yeah,
did confirm it. Yeah.
yeah. Jill and I were talking about it where we were kind of like, we don't want it to be a thing where like, oh no, because a lot of the Expanse fans were hoping that she's gonna like get reanimated by the proto-molecule that's sitting on the planet on the moon, and that's gonna like keep her alive for the next few years before the next season. I'm like, you guys are doing Stranger Things stuff where it's like there's another episode that's gonna make everything make sense, and I'm like, no, it's pretty much done.
But it was a heroic ending. That is a Baldwin ending, right? I mean, in terms of sacrificing yourself,
that she did make history in that sense. And if she's
the first Baldwin to land somewhere first.
I'll be right back. I have to answer my phone.
That's okay.
All right. Well, then Jill's the one that has to stay on the ship. Then we get to live. Just kidding.
Oh yeah, it's the three of us. Yeah, that's true.
All right, Jill. She went to answer the phone. Quick, out the door. Take the extra oxygen tanks.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll make it back.
Pretty much. No, but I think I know. I mean, it kind of speaks to the fact that I think by the end we were kind of all rooting for Kelly and how we were like we wanted to see her do well. We wanted to see what the rest of her story could have been. I think that's what's driving us to want to have that like more optimistic, more positive outcome for her. But I mean, you're right. She goes out as a hero, and I think that's a better way to leave things with her.
Yeah, and then she says that at the end she's like, "I won't see what's on your next journey, Alex," or message to her son. So I'm assuming the next season's going to be heavily focused on him, and then I guess in that next year, and then Danny Stevens' daughter, who was wearing the Stevens nameplate. Yeah. Bad Danny's daughter. Yeah. What's her? I forgot her first name already, but
Avery.
Avery. Yeah. So she's was wearing the Stevens nameplate, if you notice, and of course she went to see his gravesite. I'm assuming they left him there. I'm guess did they just leave him there, or did they? I don't know.
Well, I mean, in the last episode,
is that his resting place?
Well, I think they left because that's just the old North Korean capsule they left him in. I think they did bury him on Mars. Okay. I don't know if he's buried in the same area, but I think she's just going there as kind of like a pilgrimage to because that's the last place he was before he died. And it's actually tangibly there.
But that's one of my favorite things at the end is that she's accepted that she's a Stevens, because I've been calling her Stevens this whole time. Like I'm not like, okay, Jarrett, whatever. I know your real name.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that reveal with Alex too, the Stevens and Alex connection too. So I'm sure
that has to come
between this time jump. So what did we go from 2012 to 2020 at the very end, or was that
2020?
Yeah, that's right. 2020.
So it was 8 years, 8 year jump then, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we got to wait
for a shorter jump.
We got to wait till next season and watch the great montage of what's everything, the alternate history, because that's the tradition of the show, right? They catch you up on what's happened. So we had Al Gore as president, which was which is all the things that changed. Yeah, for one term. Yep, all the things that change in history just from this.
Yeah, and I think from that point, it's just going to be fictional presidents. The next one will probably be fictional too.
No, I think the next one we're getting is because they kind of set up this last time.
Really?
That because Ted Kennedy died in 2009, and they were making a big statement about how that's inspiring JFK Jr. to possibly run for president in 2012, but we don't really see how that turned out. So I'm thinking that, I mean, technically it's fictional because JFK was he died in 1999.
Right, but it's a real person.
Seeing a different tangent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, different universe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're going to, when we pick up on, back in 2020, we'll be at the end possibly of his 2 terms in office, which would be interesting. And see what he does, because I don't think that his policies are going to be identical to what Bragg was trying to do. I think that his would be a little bit more, pro space, because I mean he's coming off of Ted Kennedy and JFK himself, so I don't think he can escape that. So we'll see.
And the fun thing
we will certainly see. Yes.
I was looking at the list of presidents, so just because I'm jogging my memories, of course, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon are the same, but then you had Ted Kennedy of Chappaquiddick fame, getting elected in 73.
Which didn't happen in this timeline.
Yeah, did that happen? Or let's see.
Because they say that they make an explicit note.
Oh yeah, that didn't happen. Yeah, Chappaquiddick didn't happen. Yeah, so because what had happened was the moon landing was actually the weekend of Chappaquiddick.
Yeah.
So that's why it was kind of buried in the news. So when that happened, so that's that, the change in landing on the moon changed. Chappaquiddick didn't happen. So then we get Ronald Reagan and Gary Monkey Business Hart, and he was the guy in the 80s who he said, told the press, like, I dare you to come catch me having an affair, basically. And his name of his boat was the Monkey Business. And he got caught and photographed. And then you had Ellen Wilson, the astronaut, Al Gore, and then now James Bragg. So that's the recap of the presidents. But just love that, history where things. So you can't have a Hillary Clinton because then Bill Clinton never became president, right? So
yeah, the Clintons were basically written out. And the Bushes are written out of this whole timeline,
right? Which is really interesting, yeah, just from that one
Sure.
change. But everyone thinks that Ted Kennedy had a really good chance of becoming president if it wasn't for the Chappaquiddick incident.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Well, there you
Because I
go.
think-
And so where we are in the episode, though, they're talking about they're continuing that line. They're low on oxygen, and so they're getting ready to head back to the Sojourner, but they find out that the rover will not charge. It will not start, and so that's not good. And
They're out of gas.
the engine just cranks, and that's it. Yeah, they're out of gas. They're out of gas.
Well, something I guess is draining all their energy.
Yeah, it's the
What are they-
Tholins.
Tholins, yeah,
Yeah,
not the Tholians, but the
not the
Tholins.
Tholians. yeah, right. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, it seems to be like gumming up all the works of like any kind of machinery. So I'm kind of wondering if that thread's going to be taking into the next season. Like that's the reason they can't fully colonize Titan, because that stuff, causes that to happen, or they just make better solutions to kind of like work around it. But either way, it's kind of an interesting little curveball.
And it seems like it's incredibly difficult to land on Titan too. But I guess in the future, yeah, then the tech would get better, as they iterate, and because the other mission failed. Yeah, they bound. But I think part of it too weren't they trying to rush there or get there?
Yeah,
before
yeah,
sun?
they
So
were-
that kind of made it more dangerous in terms of their risk profile. They're kind of rushing things, but
Yes, and
That-
so they miscalculated, and yeah, and
Yeah,
That was a
skipped off
tragic
Titan's
one.
atmosphere
was-
and went into Saturn. Yeah.
and they
that
never even
was-
said the names of the crew either. That bothered me a bit.
Yeah,
never
I mean, it
really
kind of
learned.
speaks to the idea that space has become so routine that when you lose people, it's like an airplane. Like you don't hear everybody who dies on an airplane anymore. You just kind of like 200 and whatever people died on that flight, and it's like so routine and like this happens. This is
Yeah.
the cause of space travel.
Wow, that kind of sad. But
Mhm.
we're switching to we're at Helios now, and we've got Avery with his victim. Well, he shot his friend. He shot his friend Marcus, and they're doing everything they can to save him. And it's a very chaotic medical scene, one of those scenes that you see. And Avery and Alex bond together over their first
Mutual killings.
mutual killings, or at least
Well,
almost killings. Alex almost killed.
commiserate.
and
Well, yeah, shootings, I guess.
Commiserating with each other. Yeah.
commiserating is a better word. Yes.
Yeah.
And Avery really did kill her target, and it's kind of haunting her because she didn't know who that lady was, and it just
Mhm.
looked
Yeah.
like a regular person that she didn't know.
Yeah.
And so this is the interesting interaction between two sides who are supposed to be enemies, but they kind of put it aside here because of their mutual friendship with Marcus, and they leave peacefully. She's able to leave peacefully. Alex isn't like, no, you can't go out there because you're going to go kill the people I care about or whatever. He just he lets her go,
Mhm.
and that's that.
Yeah, well, it's
scene.
just the tragedy of war, right? They're
Mm.
young soldiers, and they're friends, right? So Alex and Haskell grew up on Mars together, so he's a Marsie,
Yeah.
right? So,
Mhm.
and you knew his character pretty well too from the season. And Dev is kind of the villain of the season, I would say too, but he gets
Yeah.
a nice arc, redemption in the end. I mean, it makes sense as a businessman, right? You're gonna, get robots up there. You're gonna automate everything, make maximum profit. But then in the end, he says, "Oh, I realized I had the right people here all along."
That's it feels like a little too late for me. It's kind of
Yeah.
like he's
I
been
mean,
behaving this way this entire season and just
that's why I
all of
think
a
it's
sudden
kind of a
changes.
partial redemption. I think that full redemption is still elusive,
Mhm.
but like I mean, there's that scene at the very end, which we'll get to, but
Yes.
it's like, like I want, because I think inherently like the actor who plays Dev is pretty like personable, and so I'm like I want to like him, and I want him
Yeah.
to make the right decisions, but like this season, he's just been making like cold, calculated decisions that like cause death, even unintentionally.
Yeah.
And
Gulsara.
But he's
Gulf
kind of
Sword
been like
definitely is
that
one.
the whole time, though, too, hasn't he? I mean, if you go back to
Well,
previous
he's always
seasons,
been
he's
selfish.
ruthless
He's always been
businessman,
selfish, but not
selfish.
like this.
Well,
Yeah,
not this
I don't think
cold-hearted, but he's been that kind of distant, SOB many times in the series, right?
Yeah,
Fighting.
I mean, he's always
So,
put that front on, but it seems like he's always having to like balance his humanity with his inhumanity, and it's like
yeah,
at a certain point, it's like because I think in season 3 when we were doing the race to Mars, like he was the one that was trying to convince Ed to not, make a risky decision, and then Ed didn't listen, and then turned out, forced him to like remove the little like block so that Ed couldn't make decisions on his own ship, and so there was that whole thing.
yeah.
Step away for just a second. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah. So I guess, yeah, I mean, you get that big confrontation. Then, of course, the fog of war, too, with that, blowing up the command center on Mars for the invading Marines. Tactically, it was, the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But no one wanted to, make that decision. But it's war, so horrible thing
Yeah,
to
we were
have to
talking
do.
about
But
that.
you talked about it before. So then you're moving forward now, where everyone's fighting, but because of the fog of war, because of blowing up that command center, they don't have the communications that there's now a temporary ceasefire.
Yeah, I mean that's the cold irony where it's like, they're very close to killing each other for no reason at all,
Yep.
all because of a communication issue, and it's like there's that dramatic irony, but at a certain point too, it's like, we have this conflict between these two groups of people, and very clearly, like we're kind of like given this idea that the Martians or the Marsies are they're the quote unquote good guys, even though they're making decisions that in a time of war makes sense. Like we're definitely
Yeah.
meant to, sympathize with them and their side, but I don't think they really give us very many reasons to sympathize all that much with the M6 people, to be honest.
No, maybe
Except
just the
for
soldiers are
Avery.
just
Except
yeah,
for
well,
Avery,
the soldiers that are in Haskell, well, they're just it's it's cliche, but following orders, right? So they've been ordered
Yeah.
to do this. So it's you don't want to excuse it, but technically the Mars is violating all their agreements, and not that it should have gone led to violence here. They probably could have just starved them out, but
Yeah, they probably didn't have very much food left at this point.
Right? Because didn't they say at one point there was like a week left of food, or 2 weeks?
It was like a couple weeks. That was like the range they had.
Yeah,
but maybe they just rationed it severely.
I mean, possibly
stretch it out.
They were talking about that, but yeah, I think the other thing too is that I think they were justifying the use of force from the ending of episode 8 when Ruiz was killed in the blast on Kuznetsov station, and that's why the first people to shoot were the M6 people, and they took out Silvio. So, I think that the M6 on multiple occasions has been way more prone to like violent action than the Marsies.
The Marsies are defending their home, basically.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Snorter Poopa says NASA and the media were made space exploration seem so routine that people were shocked when the Challenger 7 were killed.
I mean,
I was taking an oceanography final and
Mm.
had to go into that. I was in high school, and just before that, we heard the
Mm-hmm.
news, and this was before obviously the internet. I'm not old, so but it
Mhm.
was it was on the radio and the news, and of course that we all back then it was the Libyans, because of course they were the big villains in Back to the Future, but everyone was,
Yeah.
was speculating it was it was the Libyans that did it. And, it turned out to be a O-ring
on.
that
I gotta
O-ring
step
that
away.
failed, but
Go ahead.
I just that was then everyone was really shaken up that day, of course, plus there was a teacher on
Mhm.
that on the Challenger, so but really
Yeah, I mean,
terrible
obviously,
tragedy. Yeah,
that was like 6 years before I was born, but my dad told me all about it when I was a kid. So I had my own when I grew up because I had the Columbia, but
yeah,
that was a whole thing too. But that was different because they were coming back, whereas Challenger was going up, and so
yeah, and everyone was and all because Krista McAuliffe was on it as a teacher. All the
Yeah.
schools, like Snort had said, yes, it was very routine, but that mission had like extra attention because everyone was waiting to watch the Krista McAuliffe.
yeah, I mean, millions of school
up, yeah.
children saw it because all the teachers had it. Like they probably wheeled out the little
Yep.
cart and they had everybody watch it.
The
And then
TV
that
cart,
happened.
which we had back in the
Yeah.
day. Yep. I don't know if they still have. Well, they probably have just flat
I-
screen monitors now. I guess I don't know.
Well,
If the
I
cart's
think,
as big, but or it's on the wall maybe already.
when I was growing up, in the late 90s, 2000s, I think it was like the mid 2000s, they started getting rid of the wheeled carts. Everybody got depressed. It's like, oh, it rained that day. And so like, oh, we're going to
Yeah, the
not
movie
do our
came
normal
out. Yeah.
thing. Yeah, wheel it out. We're good.
Yeah.
Everybody was excited.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I can only imagine how it would have been at the time because my dad graduated high school in '83. So it was funny when season 2 came out and it was set in '83. I'm like, hey, Dad, it's set when you graduated high school. But it was interesting too when season 3 started because it started in 1992 when I was born. So I was like,
Okay. Yeah.
this show is like tracking my life. But
Well, that's why I like watching all the different. Yeah, check the clothes out, check the hair. Just little minor details of what things look like. Yeah.
yeah, that's why I'm curious.
Yeah.
I made a joke because the end of the season ends with a song that a bunch of people predicted was going to happen. And I was kind of wondering what the song would be myself. And so when it ended with, Blinding Lights, I was like, okay, that's a good song to transition us into the 2020s. And then I was thinking to myself, I've never thought I would say this phrase, but I can't wait to relive 2020.
Yeah. Right. Well, they're not going to have COVID, I'm assuming, right? That's gonna be,
I'm thinking that there's going to be no COVID.
Or they're going to bring back that
mankind.
bug from Titan. And it's going to infect everyone. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, that was
no.
what people were thinking about Elena when she got,
That's what I thought.
cryo burn, but that was just a cryo burn. But
Or
I
it's
kinda
just
think,
a slow gestation.
yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see. I think when we get to 2020, it's going to be like a tiny fleeting reference on the news, like, oh, there was this thing that happened and it was solved thanks to advances in medical technology.
Oh,
And
thanks to
then
Discovery on Titan, maybe, right? Yeah.
maybe. So it's like then they move on to the next thing. But because they mentioned that there's like nano therapy now that can like slow cancer. So there's like giant leaps in medical technologies.
Yeah. Ed just didn't want to.
Ed was
Didn't
stubborn.
want to deal with
always.
it because he was stubborn. Yeah. And I want to say hello to a couple of people who showed up on Rumble in my chat. Thank you so much for hanging out. Dude Bro Seth 420 and God Bless 5697. Great to see you. And
Hell.
yeah, that's good. Yep.
Always got to remember open
Hey,
the Rumble
guys.
window to always forget that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, right. Well, I've been paying a little more attention to Rumble these days. They're
Yep,
very
yep.
important over there. And so, and also very important is Margot's phone call. Margot is making some phone calls, and she has a whole list of contacts, but everybody's declining her call. I guess she's disgraced, or she's a traitor, or nobody wants to talk to her.
All the above.
Yeah, until Will Tyler finally accepts her phone call, and so he's from a previous season. We've seen him before, and
He was on the Mars mission, yeah, with good Danny and bad Danny.
Oh yes, okay, and then and he's surprised to hear from her, but and she asked about Aleda, but he can't. He's not able to share any information because everything is locked up tight because of the war. And so I kind of feel sorry for Margot at the end because he says, "Oh, you're not one for small talk. What's the deal?" And but it seemed to me that she kind of did want a little small talk. She hasn't talked to a colleague in so long. I think maybe and you can't really you can make friends in prison, but you can't really talk shop with them when you have the job she did. So
Yeah.
that's over. So something tells me she wanted a longer phone call, but that's a
I mean, it's kind of.
she tried.
Do you think,
I was
so
watching
do you think she's-
another. You're saying?
Oh, it was just. Do you think she's gonna get a jail next season, or she's gonna have? I mean,
No, I think she's stuck there.
She think she's stuck there, yeah, or maybe she gets pardoned by
I mean,
president or the now that I guess is Mars. They never say like if it's an actually independent nation or if it's just.
well, they have
like
their own
a
flag, so I
protectorate.
think that they are a nation. We just don't know what it's called.
Yeah, because they're not like a state, right? I mean, they wouldn't be like join. We're the 51st state of America now, or something.
No, I think
Right.
their own
They're not
nation,
part of
but
America.
You think they're probably a
they're their
separate
own
nation,
country,
yeah.
but we just, like I said, we don't know what they're called. There's a lot of people speculating on what the name could be. I think it's going to basically be something to the effect of like Republic of Mars, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much going to be it. Because they went straight.
Can't call it Happy Valley. You can't call it Happy Valley.
Yeah, I mean, Happy Valley could probably be.
No,
like,
that's the name of
It'd be the
the
capital.
modules. Yeah,
that'd be the
that's a
capital,
city. It's a city. Happy Valley is a city. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll say like capital Happy Valley on it, but on like a little Wikipedia article about the Republic of Mars. But,
I bet you, but speculation, but maybe if they are their own
Step away
nation,
again. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
It's
Maybe
okay.
they could demand that she gets out of prison as part of like negotiations, or well, I'd like to see that. I guess, yeah, because she sacrificed her life for the Goldilocks asteroid, keeping it around Mars. So
I mean, they never really save. I mean, she's in general population because they're letting her out to like do stuff. So it's not life imprisonment. So we never ever really got an idea of how long she was supposed to be in there to begin with either. So, because if it's like, oh, you're here for like 15 years, then technically she'll be out. What is it? 2003 was when all that went down. So if she was in there for 15 years after that, she would be getting out 2018. So there's a small possibility, if that's the case, that she could be out in 2020.
It could be.
But that's judging if it's 15, or if they gave her 20 and then they let her out after 15. But,
we don't know her actual sentence. I want to say hello to Maddie's daddy. Hey, how are you doing?
Howdy.
Yeah, Steve. And so we cut back to Happy Valley. There's everybody. So the Marines are converging on Moxie. So everybody who is supposed to be defending Moxie just leaves. They're just like, hey, we got to go set up for the battle at the business district, the promenade, as Philip is calling it today.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, he's not wrong. And so, but the only person left there is Aleda, and she's trying to figure out those satellites, and Arena shows up and tries to help. But she also lays out her philosophy, and Aleda's like, your philosophy sucks, because Arena's just saying we're all just animals who can't help but be terrible, basically, right? And Aleda is, like Philip said, like the episode says, being the better angel, being more idealistic, more Star Trek kind of philosophy than Arena, who just thinks everything's cutthroat. But at the same time, Arena's helping with the satellite issue. She says, "Oh, well, I shouldn't tell you about these satellites, these secret satellites." Aleda says, "Well, no, we knew about your secret satellites."
Yeah. Oops.
But you tried those too.
Not so secret. Yeah.
No, not so secret at all. But that does jog her memory. She says, "Oh wait, what about the decommissioned satellites? We just left them there because I guess she says it's cheaper, but wouldn't she want to dispose of them by sending them into the atmosphere so you don't end up with too much space.
Well,
junk?
at that point in time, I don't really think so, because I think there's this idea that you don't need to set them for that, because eventually if you don't have active station keeping on a satellite, it'll just naturally go toward the larger gravity well anyway. So
Okay,
that's
you
less
just have
energy
to wait.
intensive. You just have to wait for them to fall back naturally.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
Yeah.
But Arena says if they can send a message to Star City, they can relay the trajectory to Titan and Sojourner. So they're setting up the USSR as a ally for Mars. And they need to get but in order to do this, they have to go to Helios to connect with the computers there, to connect with the satellite. And so then they're going to do that. And Arena says, I'm sure we can find a big, strong man to protect us. And sure enough, the big, strong man appears out of the corner over there. And we don't know his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's been a coup on the Soviet Union. I guess the oligarchs removed, the current president. So, and I guess the governor of Mars was kind of promised potentially the leadership of the Soviet Union. So you wonder they don't really show you what happens at the end, at the end. But that's the politics of, even though you don't see a lot of Earth, the politics behind the scenes. Without that happening, you wouldn't have had that ceasefire, right? So I think blowing up the command center, they had to do it, and then that wrecked all the communications, but also then it set their troops into disarray. And then what's happening on Earth, the Soviets and the USA are still rivals, even though they're partnered together. And you haven't had that same Cold War, but with that change in government, then they pull out of the M6 and then they demand bring about a ceasefire. So it's a quick change of events, but it would have been fun to maybe see it. You don't need to have it, but a couple of those scenes on Earth, I guess less is more sometimes, but so much stuff going on in this episode. And the last 3 episodes, I mean, they've all been really good this season, but I think like the last 3 episodes really ended the season on a really high note.
Yeah, I think this third act of the season has been pretty strong.
Yeah.
I've got to say hello to iLord Corey. He said, hey, we out here. Hello.
Hey, Corey.
Hello. Hail back and salute 2 times.
Howdy.
So there you go. And God bless gives us a heart, a rainbow heart, and it's always nice. I like those gifts you can have on Rumble. And so Avery and Alex are talking. I think I mentioned I think I already talked about this scene. I didn't mean to. I guess I talked about it early, so we can actually skip this part. But it's okay. Oh, but there was one thing. Alex says Godspeed to Avery, and she returns it.
What confused me too in this episode, and you said in the beginning of the show, like they'd be replaying some scenes. So I kept checking, like I'm on episode 10, like because they replayed some scenes, and it wasn't like it was done as a flashback. It was very confusing at some points. Was it confusing you guys?
Right, because they were filling in the blanks to events that happened in the last episode, like the governor being kidnapped, or not kidnapped, but like taken from are seemingly freed, but really he's bait for the destruction of the command.
Yeah, but they had the exact same. Yeah, but they had the exact same scene. It wasn't like from a different point of view. Where I'm like, wait, what's going on?
I think they were kind of betting that we would be smart enough to figure it out. But it's like episode 9 had a lot of strange gaps in it, and so that's why I was kind of thinking that there has to be like another shoe to drop, because at this point it makes it seem like the Marsies are a little too stupid, and I'm like, that can't be what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's why when we did see those scenes kind of get repeated, it was kind of like not so much seeing it from a different perspective, but like having the added context where it's like you see the scene where Polivanov is talking to Miles and everybody, and they're planning to use him for bait, and then they re-show that scene from episode 9, and it just adds extra context to it. So now we're like, oh, So that's what that means.
Yeah.
And then
It
we
just
should have
was
seen after.
it was just jarring to me because especially with streaming stuff, like, wait, am I in the right? Because it was exact. I'm
Yeah.
just probably being an
I mean,
idiot.
that's kind of the danger when you do
Yeah.
something like that way with that kind of
Yeah.
structure. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I think we were all able to figure it out. But
Yeah, you
can be
figured
a
it.
trip
Yeah,
up.
you can't figure it out, but it was just in a jarring.
Catch
Sometimes
up.
when they do a
You catch
flash,
up.
because
Yeah, it's
what
one of
happened
those
in
structural
episode,
things where it's like it's going to work or it's not.
but when it happened in episode 9, was that a fast forward, or now that I'm trying to remember now, when you see that scene in episode 9, how does that? Because that was in the future, right? I guess I got to go back and watch it again, but
Which one?
well, the governor
I think
getting
it's just a
captured.
matter of perspective because it was episode 9 was about the perspective from the young adults, the
Because I
kids.
think episode 9 is sort of episode 9 and like the beginning part of 10.
They
or the
overlap,
end,
I guess,
like
right?
they overlap. So they're
Yes.
they're not. I think the term has been used called interquel, where it's like they're linked together thematically, and it's
Okay,
like
yeah.
they're happening at the same time, but because we're seeing them one after the other, it kind of feels disjointed. So
Yeah, so that's what tripped me. It didn't bother me that much, other than I kept checking, like, wait, this is the last, like, because I've done that many times with streaming, like, played the wrong episode. Or the worst thing is if you like, especially with linear TV, like you click, or it's happened to me before too, where you fall asleep watching a series and then you're like on the final, and then you turn it on and like the finale starts playing and you see something, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, fair
funny
enough.
problem. Yeah.
So Lance from the Outcast Creative is here in the chat. He says,
Lance.
I've had you on in the background while you've been completely rearranging my office the last couple of days. Well, if you want a break from that, you're welcome to join us anytime.
Yeah, come on,
Anytime
Lance.
you like.
Just give us like 10 minutes.
But make sure your office is
And,
really organized if you come on camera.
But make sure to to subscribe to the Outcast Creative here at this link, and especially as Snortopoopa says here, to catch his latest show with Axonar, the one of the creators of Axonar, Alec Peters.
Yeah,
And
I gotta finish that one.
Yeah, and so then Mike says hi. And there you go. And over on my slideshow, we're at the promenade. We're at the business district on Main Street, and they're gearing up for the assault because they're baiting, they're boxing in the Marines, forcing them to converge upon the district, making them believe that they're headed to Moxie, but they're not really. And so they're arming everybody, men and women alike. And so Miles directs the others to remove any chance. Like, okay, so they remove the tables and the chairs so the Marines don't have as much cover. And so they're preparing for that. And there's a reuniting of Lily with her dad and Amanda. And she credits Celia for her survival. And Dev, oh yeah. And then we switch to Dev watching Lily's footage, what she recorded in the last episode of the Marines killing everybody, and he sees Alex in the fray, and I guess that's part of what changes his mind, that he's made mistakes and that he's gone too far and killing the people who should be there to create a better future for Mars. And so he suddenly has a change of heart.
That videotape played a big role. Yep. Oh, I was just gonna say that videotape, that camcorder played a huge, because it changed hands a couple times, right? In the firefight. Yep. So
because I think Palmer got it, and then it went back to Alex, and then
we still didn't see what we wanted to see, which is whether or not that camcorder recorded the events of when the Marines shot down the what are they called? The peacekeepers.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm wondering if that's going to be like, it's going to be like part of a thing they run, like a newsreel in the beginning of the new season, where it's like, oh, it's come out that the M6 actually targeted and accidentally, murked a bunch of the M6 peacekeepers too. And that might be like, because there was like a part of that between I think season 4 and 5 where it was like a little mention about the people on Mars are actually not being treated well, and there's like this like uh, labor issue going
Yeah.
on. So it was like not a very big publicized thing, but it was like definitely like a newsreel. But
I'll be right back, guys. My mom's calling. Sorry.
no,
Sure,
take your time.
sure. Well, that's what happened to me a few minutes ago too.
It's
So
family, it happens.
of
But
course.
yeah, I mean, I think for this part, it really does seem like they're teeing it up for Alex to sort of be not just like not just the surrogate like son of Dev, but sort of like an adopted son in a way. And I think that's going to be really interesting to watch next season because we really haven't seen much of Dev's family outside like his mom, and he was kind of like cutting ties with her completely. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. Right. That's true. That's true. I forgot about that relationship between Dev and his mom. But right now we went back to Titan, and Walt is confirming that the rover is not going to start. It's just going to crank. And so they realize they'll have to walk if they're going to get back to the Sojourner. And as we mentioned before, only 2 of them can make it based on the amount of oxygen they have in their suits.
Mm-hmm.
And they had.
so they all-
I did ask Grok, and they said they had extra canisters, but that was Grok's special because I wasn't sure yet.
They had extra canisters, really?
Yeah. Like they brought all the oxygen they could because the rover mission was so extended because they landed in the wrong spot, so they had to extend.
They were checking for other probes as well, and the other probes they found weren't registering what they wanted because it was all inconclusive.
Yeah, so they had to, and it was a risk to go on that mission too with that rover. I think to begin with, right? The distance that they were going, and if I'm half remembering, right? So
yes, they already didn't have enough oxygen for 4, so they could only take 3 on the mission.
Can they generate oxygen now in this?
That's what I was wondering.
In this future,
Well,
because like the Mars colony, do they generate oxygen, or do they ever talk about that?
Well, they don't really go into the specifics, but it's implied that they do a similar or you could do a similar situation like they do in The Martian, where he makes oxygen by like pulling apart hydrazine. So, I mean, that's what every spaceship uses in its RCS thrusters. So, I would say it would be possible, but I don't think there's no thrusters on the rover or the lab, I would imagine. So, I don't think they're expecting it to be in space. So
when they find water on the moon, and that's the big race now, they're trying to look for water on the moon. I think one of the poles I was reading about, I can't remember north or south, but because then they can make oxygen, right? Once they have the water, they make fuel, and that's kind of the building block for any future exploration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have liked an attempt to solve this problem. They just kind of like, nope, we've got to die. One of us has to die, and so they all argue about who's going to.
I mean, to be fair, I think the mission or the people in the lab are mostly biologists. They're not engineers.
Yeah,
it might have been different if there might have been one engineer along with them. So I think there's something to be said about that. Just because you're a biologist doesn't mean you can like
bring an engineer.
Solve other stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you're going to want to hopefully bring at least one engineer with you just in case so they can work the problems a little bit more efficiently. But, I think that's the crux of the thing. They brought 3 biologists when they should have brought 2 and then the 1. But,
brought a Scotty.
Yeah.
Yes. They needed a Scotty.
She changes the mission up at the end, like she brings what's the Walt, is it Walt, or who's the guy that's off going who with the glasses on the
that's Walt.
Yeah, so he and he's been, as you were saying before, Jill, he's never going to know that, or maybe they will find out that Kelly did inject the code there, but for the burn, but to land on Titan, but yeah, so he's I feel kind of bad for the guy too, but Yeah, so they brought him along as an extra. She's like, "You're the foremost, what is it, exobiologist. We need you to come on the mission." So,
Yeah.
that was an interesting switch. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And they're arguing Walt wants to be the one to sacrifice himself because he uses up more oxygen being a man and everything. So he tries to use that biology. But Kelly says that he has a family, younger family than her. Her son's already grown up and that he's going to be okay. And that's her argument. Although she is the pilot, who's gonna pilot the ship? I don't know. I guess maybe somebody else can pilot it.
Well, they must be trained. Yeah, they must be
There's got to be somebody else.
duly trained.
I think it was that other guy. I think Stu was the other guy, the guy behind Walt on the mission. I think he was also a pilot, but he wasn't like the main pilot. So I think that's what that's about.
Yeah, so they do get. I guess at this point, Mars can't get in touch with the Sojourner, so they're really working hard because they don't have the trajectory, I guess, to get back to Earth, right? So that's that's the most important thing for them because they're going to be stuck there, right? I guess they don't have any way of figuring out that. You just can't just take off, I guess, right? And so Lita is just going nuts trying to figure out how to get that information to the Sojourner, because that's really, as you said, she's trying to be neutral, but really she's trying to be Switzerland, but really her prime concern is getting the crew back from Titan.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of there's something to be said in this season really about like pragmatism versus kind of radicalism, where it's like if you're going to try to make some kind of a like a risky move and you're going to try to do these things, is it better to be pragmatic or is it better to be the radical and the rebel and do things like like what Kelly ultimately does? But I kind of think the season kind of comes out showing the merits of both sides, because at the end of the day, Walt isn't necessarily wrong in his perspective. Like, he wants to approach things logically and cautiously, but then there's also something to be said for taking the risk, making the choice, and seeing what happens. Maybe not all the risks result in something that's beneficial for everybody, but there's always a possibility that maybe that one risk will be the high reward thing that happens at the end.
No risk, no reward, right? So, I mean, just think of landing on the moon. And of course, there's a lot of people who don't think we landed on the moon, but
and those people are wrong.
Yeah, but
yes, those people are wrong. Agreed.
No.
Listen to the Apollo 11 site, right? I'm that's a pretty easy prediction to make, but just so space travel is inherent. The risk is inherent.
Cue the risk is our business.
It has become so routine too.
Risk is our business.
I love that quote. Yeah, but if you don't have that, those people taking chances. Like, think of Amelia Earhart at the car show this week. One of they had her 1937 Cord there. Not that it's I was just thinking of like the just taking off and trying to circumnavigate the globe with no GPS, primitive radios, low tech. Or think of all the explorers way back when just using the compass and primitive navigation and clocks, to navigate the globe without maps and or rudimentary maps. I mean, it's just amazing tech. So this has kind of brought the spirit. But now it's kind of routine, like we were talking about the Challenger disaster. When it was routine to go up, with the space shuttle. Think of the tech. Like, we can't get to Mars right now, right? But they've got shuttles going back and forth between Mars. It's just completely routine, to get back and forth to Mars. So I love.
That's why I wanted to see the moon, because I wanted to see if there was a lot of tourism on there. Now that it's super easy.
That is the one thing we were talking about in an earlier episode. We were like talking about how, it'd be nice to go back, because we were hoping we would get like at least one shot of like Avery and Marcus on the moon before they shipped out to Mars, but we didn't even get that. They're just like, nope, they're already there.
I wanted to see the Disneyland on the moon. Anyway,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
well.
That's next season.
Pubis says, I'm one of those weirdos that think this show would make
That
a
was
good
lot.
prequel for Star Trek.
Well,
You're not the only.
You're making a actual opinion that's well reasoned because you're not one of those people who's saying that this would make a good prequel to The Expanse.
Yeah,
so good on you for that.
And the actual creator of the show is one of those weirdos too, who thinks this is who says it's the unofficial prequel for Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying I
So
agree with
I
both
agree.
of your statements. Snort. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
But
Polar bears, no humans landed on the moon. We were on the moon watching.
that's what I always tell people. There's mirrors on the moon you can bounce lasers off of, and calculate the speed of light that way. Like, oh well, maybe it's just a rock or something it's bouncing off of.
No, I told my mom and like, oh, they just dropped it with the parachute or something. So okay, fine. What?
And then the other thing is they've had the satellites that orbit the moon. They've actually filmed the landing site. You can see the landing.
We just had
sites.
3 people go around it just last month or the month before last. So
yeah,
hopefully not the last
we got
time.
pictures. We got pictures of it. What do you want?
I would hope.
What do you want?
I mean, exactly. I hope, as much as I think and I imagine everybody else here, that we don't just do these like 3 or 4 missions and then it's another 60 years before the next one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did the
Yes.
so the Artemis they did get picture of the Apollo landing sites from?
Yes.
Well, they're waiting to develop a lot of the. I think they took like 20,000 photos or something. So
yeah, they're
waiting to develop all of them.
Geez, 20,000? Can I buy a book?
Yeah, because I did see some. There's all some bunch of great YouTube videos and reading about. I'm kind of a space nerd too, but looking at none of the telescopes have the resolution on Earth, but the satellites that are orbiting the moon do have the resolution to pick up the landing sites, and you can pretty clearly see them. They're not zoomed in like Google Earth, but you can see them. So I'm wondering what pictures they got from. That'd be very cool to get some new pictures because I'm sick of arguing about if we did land on the moon.
I mean, they're going to land on the moon in 2029, and they're going to basically. It's going to be in the most high resolution, imagery we've ever seen. It's going to be dope.
Yeah,
and there's still going to be people who say, "Oh, it's on a stage somewhere."
Yeah. But
the scary part of it is that all the astronauts that landed on the moon are all in their 90s, and if we do end up going by 2029, there's a not small possibility that they'll all be gone by then. And then the conspiracy theorists will be like, "Well, isn't it weird that they're all gone now?"
Yeah. Yep.
So
I know that's going to happen.
Dude Bro on the Rumble side is saying we're going to build a moon base. Yes, and he's also sharing a link, a YouTube link if you want to check that out on Rumble. That is Artemis footage, which I don't know. I haven't checked it out yet, but thank you for sharing that. That is acceptable. And so I do want to get back to the episode because we got a lot to talk about still.
Yeah.
And so we've got Deb.
I want to respect Mark's time a bit. So if you wanted to have any last words.
Yeah, because I got to head out. It was guys putting a new fence at my mom's house, so I got to go check on.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, thank you,
Philip.
No, I did not see the private chat there.
Yeah, that happens.
10 minutes. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I better head out now because before
well, that's why I said if you wanted any last words, let us know. Or if you wanted to save them for I think next week we're doing another
I'll give a
retrospective sort of thing.
Quick recap, but I give this episode I don't know if we're grading it, but A++. Like this last, it's like a really great mini movie these last few episodes, and I hated not watching it. And please, anyone that knows my wife, don't tell her I watch these episodes so I could be on the show because we didn't get a chance to watch it this weekend. So I don't know if should I lie to her and pretend and be surprised or
you can't lie. She's gonna know you saw it.
She's gonna know I saw. I can't. Too damn honest. I can never.
She knows you.
She's got the lie detector, but we love watching these episodes together. So just it was heartbreaking, but also a very hopeful episode, and it's just one of the best things on TV. Now, maybe I'm biased, being Star Trek space nerd like you guys, but it is, even if you take all those elements out, like say this was set in the wild frontier, in the West, in the Wild West of America, like the characters and everything, you could transpose this to another situation. It's just well written and really well done. But then it's got the added bonus of the sci-fi, and I'm just can't wait till next season. I'm not gonna wait. I think it says hopefully 2027, and next season's the finale too. That's it. So
yeah, we're all keeping our fingers crossed for 27, not 28.
Yes, yes. I hope that it's 1 year that we have to wait, not 2. So that would be good.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that. And yes, and you are welcome to join us next Wednesday if you want.
Cool.
Because we're not going to have the episode to go through. We're going to talk about the entire season and what we predict is going to happen in season 6 and all of that fun stuff. So
that'll be fun. Yep.
Yeah, that'll be good. We'll be free to talk about anything. And so, I'll catch you around. Thank you so much for joining last week.
Thank you, everyone.
It's been great.
Yep.
I enjoy the shows too.
Yeah.
And check Mark out. He's got some lots of really great videos, lots of incredible conversations about great nerdy stuff and geeky stuff.
Go see He-Man. Here's my Castle Grayskull. I 3D printed, and I did a multicolor one.
That's great.
Gray one, but I said, let's try one of these multicolor ones. So I guess that's opening tonight or tomorrow.
I should buy my husband some multicolored filament. I want some rainbow stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun stuff. Yep. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Great hanging with you guys, and
take care. We'll see you next week.
Watch out for polar bears in the wild.
Or on the moon.
On the moon. Yeah, on the moon, even better. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Have a good rest of the day. Bye.
You as well. Take care.
Thanks, Philip, for noticing that he needed to leave. I totally missed that.
I mean, I wasn't sure if you'd see it or if you'd seen it or not. I figured you probably may have not have, but
I was looking around all over the place. I'd missed it. And Old Man Bird says they are getting close to fusion, totally clean power. Really? Like, I mean, right now we put out. It takes more energy to create the fusion that I know about.
Well, I mean, it's true that they tested one reaction, and that one reaction got more energy out of it than it took to create it, and it's just the one time. So it's in the right direction. It's not enough to do anything with, but maybe eventually it will.
Yeah. Well, and the problem with that is that we need helium-3 to do the fusion that we're sort of almost capable of doing, and that's on the moon, and there's a danger of mining the moon if we've got to do it really safely, that we don't damage our moon.
Yeah, we don't want it to be I don't know if anybody's seen the 2002 version of the movie The Time Machine.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, in that movie they were trying to build, I think the actual term is like lunar leisure living, where it's like they want to, nuke the moon to build like these underground subterranean bases or complexes, and they do such a bad job of it that it blows the moon up. So, yeah, we don't want to do that.
No, we do not. Mark D with the C says, "Take care, everyone. You too, Mark." Yeah. Mark's boss told him he has to get back to work, and he's his boss.
Wow.
Old Man Bird says, "Yes, barely getting a little more. We need it to be 50% more and widespread." Yeah. That's very hopeful. I do hope we do get fusion, like the For All Mankind universe got. It would change everything for the better, in so many ways, for all mankind, as they say.
That they do.
And okay. So, like I said, we're moving on to the next scene. Dev's watching the video Lily recorded, showing the Marines mowing all the Marsies down, and I'm sure, especially seeing Alex in the fray hurts Dev the most, and so because he kind of thinks of him as family at this point, and and meanwhile, Alex is collecting medical supplies for the infirmary. It's kind of funny. He's just like stashing stuff away, and nobody's bothering him about it. But I'm still I feel like I'm more angry at Dev than even Alex is at this point. Dev seems to have a vision of what Mars could be, but all the while he's trying to remove what Mars currently is. And just watching that video is what changed his mind. And so the way the episode frames is that he's been burying his head under the sand, pretending that his ideals of how Maru should be made is correct, and that there are no consequences. And so now he's finally seeing the consequences through the lens of what Lily's recorded, the horrors of war. And so that's he admits to his mistake, that it was a mistake to kill the crops, and subsequently also accidentally killing Gosora. But I mean, the actor for Dev is really brilliant, but it feels it just feels a little late, But I guess, like Phil said, he has more redeeming to do.
Yeah, I think that if they fully redeemed him, it would kind of, I think, run out of any possibility that we could have like a satisfying arc for him next season. Yeah. So I think it's good that it's like a partial redemption. Like we're not completely, he hasn't done enough to where we're like, okay, he's fully redeemed. And I think that that's good enough room next season to kind of fill that gap if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, they spent too long in this season taking him down, making him look like a villain, but they didn't even address the automation issue. So where does he stand on that now? I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of think next season, I mean, we'll go with the speculation next season, so I'll probably save that for them. But I think that ultimately he'll probably keep it, but it'll like be relegated to only a certain specific set of activities instead of like, jobs that humans could do reasonably well. Because we actually don't, and we mentioned this before, where it's like we don't know exactly the status. I mean, we imagine that the AI in the For All Mankind universe is a little bit ahead of ours, but we don't. That's just us kind of guessing. We don't know for sure if it is or not. But I think it's a good bet that it's pretty ahead, and then 2020 it's probably even further ahead. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like.
That would make sense. Yeah. And it is a little unclear, the state of the technology. We used to be so certain of the technology in For All Mankind because we would get to see the different computers throughout the ages. Oh wow, that computer is from this year, but it's here in this year. But things aren't so set or clear. It's more in these more recent seasons, you don't get the sense of this is 2012, except for just like a few little things like the Gangnam style dance that Lee does, but it's just most of it just feels like it could be any year.
Well, I think at least this past season seems like the technology is, or at least like laptops and stuff like that, or computers look kind of what would have been expected at the time.
Yeah.
But
the phones are also a little clunky, just like they would be in our timeline.
Yeah, so I'm thinking the real interesting thing is going to be next season when things look a little bit more futuristic, because now they'll be catching up to the present, but also the technologies are further ahead in a variety of areas. So yeah, I mean, we could see some really crazy stuff next season in terms of that. I think we're going to see the technology that we were expecting to see in the 2030s. So, but it'll be available in 2020. They're 2020. So,
right. Okay, that would make sense because we do future project our own timeline where our technology is headed, and so they can just glean from that and say, "Hey, we got that now," and that would make sense. That'd be pretty cool. I do hope. Well, and I'm going to talk about this next week, that we get a little more science consultation, or I'm sure the show does have a science consultant, but I hope that they get maybe a backup or a different science consultant, because this one seems to have missed a few major things.
Well, I mean, I think that there's like artistic licenses a lot more frequently this season than in previous seasons, strictly because there's more plot that's kind of unknown to us at the current moment, because we don't know the certain things, how things would go if we actually did it. So we're kind of speculating, at large. But also, there are things that need to happen in order for story elements to happen. It's kind of like The Martian, where
story.
Yeah, because like The Martian can't technically happen, because the whole reason he got stuck behind on Mars was because there was like a big storm that kind of like made it seem like he died there. But the wind on Mars and like the intensity of it would be like a super light breeze, because it's like one atmosphere compared to like Earth's 100 or whatever. So yeah, it's the pressure matters in that scenario. But in order for the story to happen, we're going to say that it's just a little bit more intense than you would expect. And I'm okay with that, because technically it's possible. We don't know. But, it's not violating anything too crazy. That's one of the reasons why when people come out and they tell me The Expanse is the most realistic thing, I'm like, there's certain elements that are borderline magical. So you got to be aware of that when you're going into this thing. But
Fiction is allowed to have a few fantastical things, and as long as there's something grounded.
Look at Project Hail Mary as well.
Oh yeah, that one might be even
those things.
magical than The Martian.
Yeah. So as long as it works and it makes the story function, I think you're good. But I think when it's, because the whole thing with the methane thing, I think that could have been an oversight, but also,
yeah,
I don't know if they're kind of like trying to hedge their bets on whatever sort of being that they're trying to say is there. But yeah, I think they're kind of in the beginning stages of developing what creature is actually on Titan, because we might see it next season. So
hopefully they get that together. I need to know.
Because
we found aliens, so I got what I wanted.
Yeah. Well, yes, they found life, and it seems like that life will be like, if there's life there, there'll be life everywhere. So that would imply that in the next decade there should be a push for all the space companies and agencies to kind of launch more probes to find more life everywhere and see what all those are like. So it would be interesting if next season they come back and it's like they found evidence of ancient life on Mars. They found evidence of life underneath the ocean of Europa, and then
yeah,
so
Europa
on and so forth.
was the other one. I thought this season we were going to Europa, and then it turned out to be Titan. So
yeah,
so,
I got spoiled from somebody.
there.
Yeah, I got that Instagram post that somebody posted for one of the actors who played one of the astronauts on the Titan mission. He was like in a costume that said Sojourner 7, I thought, but it actually said Sojourner T this whole time. So that should have been a tip off they were going to Titan. And it did say Titan on the mission patch. So I was thinking to myself that, yeah, we're going to skip over Europa and go straight to Titan. And so that's why I never thought we were going to go to what would be considered the logical next step.
Well, they set it up early in the season that there's all these political roadblocks going to Europa. So it made sense.
Well, also, the Celestials have a role in there, because I think that it's the old rule where it's like, all these worlds are yours, but except Europa, don't attempt the landing there. So that's from 2010, the year they make Contact, the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey. But I'm gonna go and make that canon. I don't care.
Fair enough. Yeah, why not? I'm with it. So Lance said, "Sorry, I didn't make it on, but I was here." Oh, that's okay. That's okay, Lance. There's always next week or whenever, or also we've got to make sure to plug your show that you're going to have. You're going to have your own show about For All Mankind. Oh, wait, what day was that? I sent it to you, so I was going to go
Sunday the 14th, I believe.
Yeah, Sunday, June 14th at 2 p.m. Central Time. So far, I think that's the time. The time may change. Make sure to subscribe to Lance to check that out. Favorite character? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then there's a list of things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about all of For All Mankind. So I'm going to talk about season 5 next Wednesday. And then that Sunday, we're going to talk about the entire 5 seasons. And so that's going to be fun. It's going to be a great week, and
Oh yeah.
so sooner or later, Lance, we're gonna talk to you. Philip
Yes.
and I are going to talk to you about the show. So it's okay
Absolutely.
that you're busy today. It happens.
Yep. No question.
Philip
We'll
says.
see you. See you that Sunday, if nothing else.
Mhm.
But we really hope to have you next week.
Yep. And it's gonna be fun. Yeah, you're right, Jamie. It is. Life on Titan? Yeah. On this show, For All Mankind, they found some life on Titan that uses methane instead of water as its
Its main
life
solvent.
force. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so Alex, I guess Dev is trying to make up for his mistakes just a little here by having his security detail take the medical supplies directly to Dima, to the doctor. And so that's what happens there. But Dev could have been cool the whole time. It's just, anyway. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes in the future. And he's and then we cut back to Margot in prison. She is disappointing Graciana, who Margot apologizes that she couldn't do more. And she says some problems can't be solved or worked. And I feel like that line is there mainly so that when it feeds back into the unsolvable nature of having to leave Kelly behind with the oxygen and
Yeah.
them not being able to save her.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely why that's there.
Yeah, that's why that's there now. That's the excuse now, but future proofing here, we're saying, hey, look at Graciana. She's gonna do stuff maybe in season 6, and we'll find out what her importance is. In a year, but we'll
Yeah, we hope.
yeah, we hope something happens. And they all hug, and they leave her there.
Mhm.
And so she's looking out on Titan. And hold on just a moment. I've got to read this chat. Let's see. Where's everything? I can't. Good. Things aren't set up the way I want them to be. There it is.
Mhm.
So, Old Man Bird says, I had some waffle fries myself last night. What you eating for your birthday? Old Man Bird asks Jamie, who wants Old Man Bird to guess. That's okay. How's he gonna guess? Cheeseburger, pizza, cake. Those are all good guesses.
Yeah.
And Snortopoopa says the novel 2001 was originally set on Saturn. So maybe the life was on Titan.
Yeah. I mean, I always think that in terms of like visual, I think that's why Saturn is featured in Interstellar, because like Saturn, I think, is a little bit more photogenic than Jupiter, because Jupiter kind of looks it's a little too big. And, aside from the radiation, I just think that Saturn is more iconic in terms of just like a look, because it has those big old rings.
Oh, I'm so sorry to Super Hacker over on Odyssey. I didn't see you over there. I had the chat up over here, but I didn't see that you chatted. It was 41 minutes ago. He's probably gone by now. But hello over there if you're still here. It's good to see you. I gotta get Odyssey synced with my other chats. It doesn't seem to want to sync. What were you saying?
I was just saying that in terms of like visual sort of iconic images, I feel like Saturn is a little bit more photogenic than Jupiter. So I think that's why another reason why they went to Saturn in this one, also because that's what Gene Kranz said in the pilot episode. He was like, we're going to go to the moon, Mars, Saturn, and then, deep space and the galaxy. So in that line, he was kind of setting up the whole thesis, or the kind of the expansion of the entire show, where it would go, the trajectory. So I think it was always a given from the start. But Yeah, I think in terms of where that we leave things, I think Saturn just visually looks a lot more captivating to me, but I don't know how that feels for others. Nope, I think I lost you.
Yeah, Saturn is beautiful, but my favorite planet is Jupiter. I think I love the way the storms look. It looks like a beautiful marble to me. I think Jupiter's prettier, and it is an amazing planet because it has saved us from so many asteroids and things
Totally.
like Shoemaker leaving 9.
Hmm. I mean, that's part of one of the many like factors I think goes into the development of intelligent life on a planet, where it's like you need to have something that sucks in all of the like rocks and stuff that would ultimately cause a mass extinction level event on a planet like Earth. So
Mhm.
you need a big planet like Jupiter to ensure that doesn't happen. But um, yeah, I think
Jordan
there's
Pupus says the Saturn is prettier.
well, I mean, supposedly it's
Mhm.
so dense that you could basically like if there was an ocean big enough, you can like set Saturn down and it would float. It's like so light, which is
Wow.
kind of insane to me.
Right. Right.
But yeah,
Makes sense. Dude Bro says Jupiter is cool. And so we head back to Helios. Leda and Arena make it there, and they're obviously Aleda is part owner, so she gets in easily. There was no fight there. And she goes directly to Dev's computer to try to hit up one of the satellites that has been decommissioned, and therefore M6 didn't think to block those signals. You mean like probing Uranus? Or as they pronounce it today, Uranus. Fighting the
well,
urge to make Uranus jokes.
yeah, because I
Both
think
ways.
technically the next location after Saturn to visit would be Uranus, and so that would be probably too humorous for many. So they would probably end up skipping over that one very,
Oh,
but or Pluto, but
poor
we'll see.
Uranus. It's always the odd one out, lying on its side.
Hmm. Well, there was a thing that was floating around Facebook a while back where it was like NASA intends to probe Uranus in 20 or deeper in 2030, and I was like, that just writes itself.
Yeah, it really does. You can't avoid it. It's
Yeah.
impossible.
That's
But
probably why we're never sending very many probes to that system.
we
So
have
that's
to. We
unfortunate.
have to explore. We have to, and we
Yeah,
have
we
to
do,
make fun
but
of it. It's a human
yeah.
nature.
So that's why Neptune will be the one that wins out in a battle between Uranus and Neptune. But
Hmm.
we'll find out how it's going to
And
go.
so Deb further helps the cause of reaching the satellite by saying, "Hey, we just need a larger antenna." And so he figures that they can use the Kurgan space elevator. And that's his idea.
Which is the first time they bring it up because, or since they brought it up in the beginning of the season, because you don't bring in a space elevator. Arguably, it's Chekhov's space elevator. It's like
Yes.
you bring it up in the first thing. You have to fire it at the end, and in this case, nobody's firing anything. It's just Dev has to appear on the top so he can like
I
lock the
understand what
signaling.
Chekhov's gun is.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying for the people at home,
I
if you're not familiar
understand.
with it,
Oh,
but
okay.
the thing is, it's like in this case, it's just Dev trying to like hold a sensor so he can contact
He
the
can get the
USS directly.
reception. He's got to fix the rabbit ears on the TV to get the satellite.
Essentially, yeah.
And so there it is. There's a space elevator that they're going to use. I don't know. But apparently they just need to connect it to the elevators at first until it is until the end that he has to climb on the top. Eurectum is the name of the planet Uranus was changed to in 2620 to avoid people making the Uranus joke. I don't know, but isn't that worse?
Isn't there like a constellation that
I guess
sounds
that's a
very
joke.
close to that?
I'm not sure.
No, I'm thinking about Reticulum. That's a different one. That's the constellation that some say the gray aliens hail from, because it's like there's a star in that constellation called Zeta Reticuli, and that's where a lot of people say the gray aliens originate from, because there was a abduction in the 60s that they claim they saw a star map, and that's what one of the stars was shown. But it's interesting.
That is interesting. So, Avery makes it back to her troop, and Lucia tells her about a death that happened. Cedar died, and she says everything's foobar. Sarge doesn't know where the hell we are. Marsies took out all the commands, and Avery wants to know if they're falling back. But Lucia says, we're proceeding on orders given until we hear otherwise. Bravo and Delta are still moving forward. We're just about to join a push on Moxie. And so, of course, the Marsies and us and the audience, we know that they're being led to Main Street or the Promenade, not Moxie. They're not going to Moxie at all. But they don't know that yet.
No.
And okay, so that's that particular scene. And then we switch back to Dev after this. And so so he's at the computer getting the data, the information from the satellite. He sent the trajectory to the USSR to get it to the Titan mission. So that's going to happen. So now that's solved. So that's going directly to Sojourner after the USSR gets it.
Yeah.
But the problem here is that then they also received lots of information back from Star City instantly. Like I guess it has to be instant because this is a TV show and they can't wait around 15 minutes or so. But radio only travels the speed of light.
Well, I think the idea is that it wasn't that they were all blocked and they weren't going anywhere. It was that they were receiving. It's just that they weren't able to actually read any of the information. So I was thinking that it was caching all of the videos. And so it's not that it was like sent instantly. It was just that they were already there. They were just now unblocked and visible.
But it's a decommissioned satellite on a frequency that wouldn't have picked up anything because it wasn't on.
I mean, maybe. I think my solution's a little bit more elegant, but we'll see.
Well, no, I don't think we will see because the show is not going to tell us.
Well, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, it's a little bit splitting hairs at this point. So I wouldn't.
It'd be nice.
It'd be nice. An area that I would want to.
But why would? Yeah, but why would the USSR know to send this on that decommissioned frequency or whatever? It doesn't line up. I guess yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I like to split hairs.
I feel like there's certain areas I would like to split hairs, but I don't think that's one of them.
It's fun for me. But anyway, I know they need to keep the pace up, but it's a bit like fast traveling. And like the fast traveling in season 7 of Game of Thrones bothered me too. But anyway,
if it's on a repeating thing, then they could probably just hear it just on a random thing.
Mm-hmm. And so so then we cut back to here. Let's go this and see Dev at the computer. Oh, we've got a message from the USSR about all the stuff that's happening on Earth, and they've removed the president from power, and the USSR is getting out of the M6, and so they implemented a ceasefire. So, and M6, what remains of the M6 have agreed to the ceasefire, so it's over, as Alex says. And meanwhile, Arena is listening and hears even bigger news that Bradford has been trying to reach the troops in Happy Valley to get them to ceasefires and stuff. So they've got to figure out a way to get the signal, the orders to the Bradford, so the Bradford can. Well, I mean, they, you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So, oh yeah, and Dev's just learning now that they took out the command. So he basically gets a little outraged by that briefly. And so the idea is that they need to make it so that the Bradford can send their transmission to the troops to get them to ceasefire. But the problem is somebody's got to tell the Marsies to also ceasefire. But they won't get there in time, I guess, in time for the entire battle to come to where they just end up killing each other.
Possibly,
So,
unless
yeah.
Alex can get there on his cool, sweet bike.
Yeah, I know. Okay, but here's another problem that I have with this episode. That's cool. It looks great. Okay, so let's catch up to that slide in particular because it does look rad. It's just he quit Helios. So why is he still storing his bike at Helios? Why is it there?
Well, I mean, I actually have the opinion that either they have multiple bikes and he can just use them, or not. Because I mean,
it's not his birthday present necessarily.
I don't think it's his exact one. Strictly because unless Avery is borrowing the same bike later on, I don't know. That would be interesting. So I assume there has to be more than one bike. It's not explicitly stated. I mean, I do think it's very convenient that there's a very long hallway to pull that off. I appreciate that, but it's not very clear.
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing. It's just nice long hallway with no turns or anything. The only obstacles are the people who are idiotically just milling about right in the middle while a motorcycle comes barreling through the hallway.
As they do, but
And there's Dev. He's climbing and he's marveling at the elevator before he climbs.
Mhm.
And there's a big standoff between the Marines and the Marsies, and so that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the Marines drops a smoke grenade, and the firefighting starts. They start shooting, and that's unfortunate, of course.
And it's unclear in these opening shots if anybody is killed. It does seem like they do, nick people on either side, but it's not clear if anybody actually perished.
And so that's what we're doing. And so then we cut back to Dev, who's taking in the enormity of the climb. Yeah, so he's got to climb up there to get the antenna to capture the signal to reach the Space Marine ship Bradford. And so the fighting is started, and there's one soldier who's trying to shoot Alex, like he's about to take him out. And Avery knocks his rifle to avoid Alex getting hit. And he's like, hey, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
And so that happens too. and so they fight. This is where Scotty would sing. They fight. They fight. They fight. They fight. They fight. And but eventually, Alex gets there on his motorbike, and Dev at the same time reaches out his little extender just long enough to send the signal, so that Bradford can send its signal to the Space Marines to get them to stop fighting, and Alex gets there to tell. Oh, hold on, I'm not showing the slides.
No.
We got a few of them. Oh yeah, there's get out of the way. The pedestrians are just standing there. They do get out of the way in time. Nobody's hurt, but it was a close one.
A little bit.
And so they're yeah, that's Avery pushing his gun out of the way to stop him from killing Alex. And Dev makes it up on top, and they get it. That's part of the thumbnail right here, where Dev is getting the signal, and it works. And here's Alex telling Miles, "Hey, it's a ceasefire. Everybody needs a ceasefire." And it all comes together at the same time, and everybody stops all at once. It is a moment.
It is very. It could have gotten worse, and I'm glad that it went the way it did, because ultimately, I don't think this show is the kind of show where, it would have been like a bloodbath sort of thing. So
yeah, it's not Shakespeare, so we're not gonna not that kind of tragedy, because it felt like that last episode, but now it is teamwork.
So far.
Teamwork is prevails here, and our Marina and Deleta are looking out over Mars. And so somehow on Earth, some way, the U.S. and the other M6 nations decide, I don't know what they're thinking, but they're thankfully deciding that violence is no longer helpful, and so they stop. And and so they're looking at, Dev's looking at the sun right up at the top of everything.
I think arguably Dev has spent most of the season looking off longingly at the Martian sunset, but I guess that's okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's basically what he does now. Walt and Kelly make it. I mean, not Walt and Kelly. Walt and Elena make it back.
That's what everybody wanted.
Yeah, that's what everybody wanted. That's where my brain went. It's like, come on. And then Walt's like, "F this! I'm gonna fire up a rover and go save Kelly." No, that doesn't happen. But they get back to the Sojourner.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if this event on Sojourner Titan kind of leads to, this idea where you have to pack redundant like rovers and labs. You have to pack redundant oxygen tanks. You got to not depend on an old, junker. You got to do a whole new ship that's purpose built for this mission.
Or like you guys were talking about earlier, have an easier way to generate oxygen from available resources that is not resource intensive.
I kind of feel too that what happened on Sojourner Titan as well, like Walt is going to get so paranoid about it that there'll be no way you can actually do that anymore, where you can slip a new code in real quick and make it happen.
Yeah, he's going to put securities in place, definitely.
Yeah, even if there was no glitch, he's going to be that paranoid to make sure nothing like that can ever happen.
Right. He just couldn't believe that even Kelly would do that. So that's why he never thinks of it. He never thinks that she did that. He never figures it out. but he does want to figure out his error. He still thinks it's his error. And yeah, you're right. He's going to do anything he can to ensure it never happens again. I do believe that. World of shit. I thought it was Mars. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. And they make it. There's a ship over there. And then we get the speech from Kelly. And that's what takes us out for the season. And we also get a newspaper article, which is very interesting. Which it's great, and I read it. I love that it ends on the notion because they actually wrote it like it's not just gibberish, and the notion that there might be silicon life out there. So Mark took that from me from earlier because I think
actually haven't
this
gotten
is.
around to reading it yet.
I think it is an Easter egg shouting out the Horda. As it says there,
Yeah.
it says but with the Titan discovery, exobiologists are now considering environments where other kinds of life might form, silicon-based life, comma, and then it continues somewhere else. I need to see Titan page A2. I can't switch that page. But no, this
Would be
this is
nice.
all good stuff.
But
Really,
yeah, I think
really fun.
even in the little headline says they're like a new nation rises or something. It's like
Yes.
no mention of what it's actually called.
Right, you're right. There's no name. There's no name of. Let's see. Yeah, they talk about ice and infrastructure is being rebuilt, mining resuming, and order has been restored as the dust continues to settle from the conflict on Happy Valley base. But and the embargo from Earth has been lifted. Obviously, okay, that makes sense. It's like okay, so Earth is not going to starve the Martians. That's what we're learning from this newspaper. But I guess maybe Ison was allowed to supplement them while they wait for their shipment from Earth because it was still going to take a little while to get it there. But you're right. I don't see it. I'm looking over the article again, and it does not say the name.
Yep, but we know for a fact Miles is not the new governor. He's the first president. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, he's the president. We get a flag, and the flag is it's got an apple tree on it. Of course it does.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like it has it's like a tricolor flag where the middle has like a gold band on it, and then below that it's like a blue band, and then at the very top it's like a star field. And the star field are not evenly split. It's like there's like a big cluster toward the left part of it, and then like a smattering of them on the right side. So I actually made that flag in like Canva, and I put it on Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
And the fandom, I think, really liked it, and so I'm thinking hopefully next season we get a new version of it, and we can actually like get a good idea of what it actually signifies. But I do think it's the Republic of Mars, but we'll see. And the apple tree definitely is on there. Very prominently put. I think we lost you.
Yeah, you did. You did lose me. And but so Margot's got some Tootsie Rolls, and she's teaching or talking to Graciana about what's going on. And so they've got a friendship now, and it seems like Graciana, this is not going to be her last visit to Margot, so this is good for her because it's lonely in prison. I'm sure. I've never been there. I'm saying that from experience.
Yeah, I mean, I only know one guy who's ever been in there, and I've only been to prison once, and that was because I was doing as part of his education group to kind of bring English writing education into the prisons. So, yeah, I don't plan to go there for any other reason than doing that.
That is good. That's good. You were teaching. That's wonderful.
Yeah, creative writing in the prison. Yeah.
And then we get Miles being sworn in with his daughter hugging her and everything, but she seems a little unsure. Maybe she's thinking maybe she's thinking, I wonder about that stuff that Palmer was telling me about. I told him it was BS, but it just she seems a little unsure.
Yeah.
And so we see the memorial of everybody who passed away during the battle, during the war.
Yeah.
In memory of those who gave their lives for a free Mars. And then we see Alex Alex and Stevens, and finally she's accepting her family name, her birth name, Stevens.
Yeah. And this implies that she stays on Mars and leaves the M6. So I think that invites a lot of interesting theories about what her life could be like on Mars.
Yeah, and then we see everybody rebuilding the domes and replanting all the crops. So they're headed positively into the future while Kelly is giving her speech here, and it's not pretty tough for Alex, obviously, to have to watch his mother speak her last words, and Lily is comforting him as he would. And it's a very emotional moment. Obviously, this is some heart-wrenching stuff, of course. But not only would Ed be proud of her, he would have, he'd make sure everybody remembered her, and so hopefully Alex does that for his mom. And he and Lily put her. She's got to be in that documentary, right? I don't know if we're ever going to see that. The Horta, yeah. Yeah, it mentioned silicon-based life in the newspaper. Stevens, is she related to Darren Stevens? No, it's a name from the very first season of the show, and so it's family
She's
line.
the granddaughter of a couple of very influential astronauts, and also a friend family of the Baldwins. Although they have not had a good time with it, unlike the Baldwins.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Oh, yeah, one problem after another. And Kelly decides that she's going to leave the Apollo plaque on the moon. And this thing is gonna stay on the moon now. Signed with.
It's gonna stay on Titan probably forever.
Yeah, the Titan moon. Yep.
I think that because the plaque has to have been some kind of a familial. I mean, it's been in there for like decades, so I'm imagining. Because of my own headcanon, I think they're going to make another version of this thing, and they're going to go to the next place and put a new plaque on it. But that's kind of me doing my thing. But the fact that she does do what she's going to do right now, I think, and no one's watching this. Nobody knows for sure that she even did this. The only people who know is the audience and her. And
that she decided to go join the methane lakes with the alien life forms.
Yeah.
And she sees something. It looks like she sees something that surprises her, but we don't see what she sees that surprises her. We just watch her walk through the bioluminescent life forms that are abundant in this methane lake.
Yeah.
And she just walks into it, and that's how she chooses to go, and with the sense of wonder to her last breath.
Yeah.
And then we soar above the clouds and see picturesque. I mean, this is a wallpaper for your computer screen.
It should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna maybe use it for that. And
if not
Kelly,
Facebook,
yeah. let's see. So Kelly has this big speech that she says at the end during all of this, directly to Alex, but of course it's to everybody. That the Sojourner crew must have made it back if people get to see her message, and how it's going to change everything. And there's also it'll challenge us to dig deeper, to find ways to go further, to bring the world together in a common purpose with new allies and even unexpected ones. And life is uncertain. It doesn't always go the way you expect it to. This is the one bit I got from it here.
Those you once considered enemies might just be who you need the most.
And that's my big takeaway from this particular one, because obviously, you know, Earth is going to unite in a certain way, and those who are enemies are just not going to be eventually. And so we'll see how that message carries into season 6 for sure. And she tells Alex that she's already proud of how much he's accomplished during his life.
Yeah.
And she says, I can feel Grandpa with me here. I hope you feel that too, because I will be with you. I love you, Alex, always. And this is something that she actually talked about earlier when he asks about heaven and mortality and everything. And she says that yeah, you do feel that person still there, just in your mind, I guess. And so that's something Alex is going to have to hold on to, because yeah, poor kid lost a lot this season. He's been through a lot. He lost his grandpa, he lost his mom, and he almost killed one of his
almost killed his friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He lost Gulsara. Yeah, he almost lost Lily too. Lily was in danger.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a great year for him.
No.
I don't think he's going to look back on 2012 all that fondly. Hopefully he has a better 2020.
But he shouldn't forget it, though, because I'm sure it's going to cause some kind of crossroads for him.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that evolves him next season when he's 8 years older. And Kelly is joined the alien life form on the planet. I don't know if that's gonna contaminate the system or anything. I know, like we were already mentioning earlier, that it could be an expanse thing. Definitely hope it's not that.
Yeah, I mean, the showrunners say that it's confirmed that she's gone, but still, there's going to be a certain sector of the fandom that they're going to think that. Yeah.
But could she have seen a more complex life form than the microbes that they found?
Yeah.
I don't know, like some kind of frog or something. I don't know.
I mean, it kind of seems like there might be a combination of bioluminescence and then maybe something a little bit more sophisticated, possibly like a Titan version of fungus, maybe. We'll see.
Oh, fungus. Okay.
Methane fungus, whatever that could be.
Something. Kelly saw something.
I mean, it would track with what's like gumming up all the works, I guess. The Tholins.
Yeah. Yes. And oh goodness, I can't get off the screen because it's so pretty. But we're we get our fast forward thing where we get a sneak peek at season 6, and we see this ship that we haven't seen in a while. This is from season 3. It is the Mars 94 ship, the Russian ship that was
ship with the big old forehead.
Yeah, it was racing to Mars, and things did not go well. And so it's here, and somehow there are electrical systems that fire up here in 2020. Somehow it still had energy, and it turns on, and some kind of program starts in Russian.
Did you get a translation of that?
Yes. It says detection of G7 3.06.0451.
G7?
Nikolov. That's No, not G7, GV. Detection
GV?
of GV. GV as I don't know. I don't know if this translation is good. It's the one I
Okay.
found on.
Well, I'll have to go with mine then and see, because there's a little more
Okay, it might be
speculation on mine.
different. Okay, because yeah, I got this one from the wiki that For All Mankind has. I might have another one here too, but anyway, as this is loading, Blinding Lights plays as we said before.
Yeah. And yeah, we're going on into 2020, and we'll see what the Mars 94 waking up means and what that could be. I mean, some of the theories are floating around because in the image, the last digital image we see, it basically says something like detection of GW, which some people say is gravitational waves. If it's GB or something else, we have no idea what that means. But in some it says GW, which would make sense. And then whatever
GW does make more sense than GV, but GV is what I keep finding. But okay,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, W might be right.
But yeah, it says Nikolov, which is Sergey, and it says loading right below that, so it's loading some kind of an image based on whatever the thing discovered. So I kind of think that either it just randomly, clicks on and activates and detects this thing, and like gravitational wave detection was something that they put on Mars 94 as part of its thing. And I kind of like the idea that maybe it does detect a gravitational wave, and it's kind of like a justice for Sergei beyond the grave sort of thing. I like that a lot. But what does it mean? I don't know. It could mean that it's detecting some kind of a signal of intelligent life somewhere else in the galaxy or something else. But at this point, we know that life exists beyond Earth in the For All Mankind universe. But is there intelligent life that we can actually talk to? That's the next question.
Well, it's definitely the tougher one to find. I believe we could find microbes in real life somewhere in our solar system, but definitely we're not going to meet the Vulcans anytime soon.
No, I think in my heart of hearts, I think we're prepping for the discovery of intelligent life next season, but we're actually not going to see it. It's all about getting there, not about, because the whole idea of the show is like to get us to the stars. So I don't see us doing anything but like building the scaffolding to get there. I don't think we're ever going to see it in the show itself. But
right.
Yeah, I think
it's the seeds of Star Trek, but we're not seeing Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, even in the show, we're still several decades away from first contact, but still.
And this is fair enough. Snortopoopas Cuber, is there intelligent life on Earth?
I mean, there's definitely that.
Old Man Bird says, cool photo. I'm sure you already mentioned it, but there's a video on YouTube of the actual Titan probe off the Saturn Cassini probe landing. Yeah, as soon as we got to Titan, we talked about that and realized, yes, Titan is really orange, not blue, but they did it so people wouldn't confuse it with Mars for some weird reason.
I mean, well, there should have been. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with their choice. I mean, I think I understand their choice, but yeah, I think if nothing else, there should have been they could have just made it a little bit lighter, perhaps. Because I mean, Mars is supposed to be red, but when we see Mars in the show, it's a little more rusty. So maybe there's a way to do it on Titan that's a little bit more, I don't know, like wet, I guess. There's a way to communicate it that would have not been confusing. But also, we know narratively that Kelly is there on Titan. So if you see Kelly, it's Titan. And if you see Alex and everybody, it's Mars. So
exactly. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Just pay attention to your characters and trust your audience that they know what they're watching.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they just wanted visual variety because otherwise we're seeing the same kind of image over and over. But there's a way around it.
I think so too. They could have done something different. But
yeah.
This was overall it was a good season. Maybe it's not my favorite, but it was pretty good. It was you know, I of course wanted a little more
I
with
mean,
Titan, but
the
or at
more
least an
science,
attempt to solve.
yeah. I mean, the more science fiction the show becomes, the more excited I get about it. Like early on, the early seasons, yeah, there's that groundedness and that realism to it. But I'm finding the more it separates itself from reality, not getting to where it's like fantasy or anything, but just becoming more speculative and more kind of like going towards like the early tropes of the same genre, where it's like we see in a variety of science fiction this idea of like Martian independence, but what does it actually mean? Have we ever seen it? The nuggets of it formulate into something, and we actually understand why the Martian independence movement actually happens and all this stuff. And so I think for the first time we're seeing the beginnings of a space civilization on the likes of which we've never seen before, at least on the television side of science fiction. So I think that's exciting, and the more we get closer to it, the more excited I get. So I don't know how it is for most of the audience, but a lot of the stuff I've been reading, it's very. It seems like the audience is split either like right down the middle, where it's like people prefer the earlier seasons that are more grounded, or people like me who are just wanting some decent entertainment. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win out next season, but we'll see how that turns out as well. I don't know if I lost you, did I?
Yeah, you lost me for a second. I was fussing around with
Oops.
something that I shouldn't be.
All I saw
fussing
was
around with.
I guess you're looking at all the different comments from across the scope.
Yeah, yeah, trying to make that look good, but it's looking a little funny. There we go. That looks better.
Interesting.
Oh, if I make it too big, it overlaps. That's as big as I can make it without it overlapping. That one overlaps. No, I guess I have to do this. But then that's too tiny. I gotta fix that. Oh, there we go. Now it's not overlapping. Who knows? It's fine. I can still read it. I'm fussing around.
That's all right.
See, can I read it when I make it big? Yes, I can. Okay, great. So we've got talking pole. Oh yeah, in terms of is there intelligent life? Obviously birds are intelligent, but are humans? And Jamie says that Jamie knows how I feel. All right. Well, I feel pretty great. I feel pretty good today. Thank you so much for talking to me about For All Mankind. Every episode this season, you've made it. So thanks for your dedication and showing up, even when you were working and you had class to go teach. You were still here, so I appreciate you coming in for that. And
I mean,
thanks.
it's a great show. It's like I would say my favorite science fiction show currently airing. I am looking forward to seeing what Star City ends up doing. I've already seen the first couple episodes of that, and I do plan to cover it on my show on Friday. There's a chance I might move it to Monday. We'll see if I can try and get more people to join for me. But yeah, no, I think we're seeing the beginnings of an interesting science fiction franchise, and I hope that they do franchise it out. But I don't want to see like the same story over and over. But that's why I'm enjoying where Star City is going so far. And I don't know if you're ever going to check out Star City, but there's a couple of elements in it so far that kind of make me think that, yeah, there's going to be elements in it that are going to pay off in the sixth season. So I'm really curious to see how that actually works out dynamically, because I mean they have to know that some people might not watch Star City. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to add some new context to everything that just happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And eventually Margot will show up. I'm sure that's what everybody's tuning in for.
I mean, if they get enough seasons in, I don't see any reason why they couldn't get to that. Because I mean, there's like a younger version of Sergei in this thing, and then there's a character who has the last name Polivanov. So I'm like, are the Polivanovs the Russian Baldwins, and we just didn't know this whole time? I don't know. It's very curious. And there's talk of there's talk of the chief designer Sergei Korolev. They don't have them named explicitly yet, but he wants to go to Venus, and so I'm thinking to myself, did the Russians go to Venus and we just didn't know about it because it got lost in the shuffle between, going to the moon and Mars? I want to know. So we'll see how the season, shakes out for Star City.
Okay.
But there's these little elements that I'm very curious about. There's enough in there to where I'm like, it can sustain me for at least this season. We'll see how it goes beyond that. But they got me locked in.
We're gonna start the timeline all the way at the beginning, so we're right back in the 60s again. So
yep, we're basically right back to a little bit after they land on the moon. So there's no like stuff before that. It's just we're there. There's actually a video somewhere on the interwebs that basically puts both opening scenes of both For All Mankind and Star City up against each other, and it's crazy how they basically track with each other. So
nice. That's good. Yeah, because there's parallel. It's parallel storytelling, and we're going to see how that plays out. And I obviously have more to say about this episode, but we're going to save our thoughts for next week because we're going to talk more about.
I try to keep a lid on some of my speculation, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Next week we're gonna expand on it.
We got into it a little bit, which is good.
Yeah,
but
in between all the family stuff, I mean, we did as best we could.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and so my daughter made it home. She's happy, and so I'm gonna go play with her. So
definitely don't let us keep you. But I think this is the longest episode we've done this season, so we'll see if we can match it next time. But other than that, that's fun. I enjoy, talking shop with everyone, and I look forward to next week and our episode with Lance.
Yeah, take care, every human. So sorry, Poopus, you too. And thank you to Mark D with the C for hanging out with us. Make sure you subscribe to him if you haven't. Great, wonderful channel. Love it very much. And we'll see you. I have a shore leave on Friday, but before and then maybe a game or two on the weekend or not. I don't know. I'll decide later. And then next Wednesday we'll have our last For All Mankind season 5 show, just speculating on season 6 and talking about our talking about the season as a whole. It should be good. And all so, Philip, is there anything you want to promote?
I'm just gonna probably just promote the Star City stream, hopefully on Friday or Monday, and then hopefully these motorcycles outside calm down. But other than that, you can see me. I'm going to start posting stuff on Substack, like little essays about space stuff, science fiction, what have you. And I'm going to post some more reviews of different movies that have come out recently, especially Project Hail Mary, Backrooms, and a bunch of other stuff. So if you like some of my opinions, or if you don't like them, you're more than welcome to, comment or, do whatever you need to do to, either get the word out.
Give me your channel again. I keep losing it.
Do I even? Yeah, it's basically youtube.com/FALHQ47. And that's the place you'll go to see all the stuffs and what I'm up to and such. At some point here, pretty quick, I want to introduce more people to my little space adventure thing, Explorer. We're working a little bit more on that one in time. I'm pretty much spending the summer just writing stuff before my final year of my Master of Fine Arts program comes out. So, there's a lot of exciting things happening, and I hope you're all able to join me. And I guess my news.
You said it's FALHQ?
Yeah.
reinforcement. It's not working.
Well, let's see if I can input it in the thingy and then see. Because I think I did it like this at some point. I think this is just the shorthand, but it should work. If it doesn't work, stay tuned next week and we'll try it again. But outside of that, my new sign off is so long and thanks for all the fish.
Oh, you know what? I did it capital letters, not lowercase. So that was my problem.
It happens.
That's a good sign off, by the way. I love that one.
I like it too.
Hitchhikers, it's wonderful. Man, okay. Does that link work for everybody? Let's see. I need to go over here and try and click on it. No, okay. Only I can see it.
That's bizarre.
And I can't copy and paste it. Can you put it in the private chat?
Let's see if I can. Is it?
Oh, and Jamie is homeschooling. Jamie's homeschooling daughter. That's very good. Good work.
Well, we do as much as we can. I think in some point later this month, it's going to be like 2 years since I joined the little For All Mankind streams. So
wow, 2 years.
I think that's cool.
That's true. That is pretty cool.
Because we did a lot trying to do our little review of everything, and I was very pleased with what we did, and now I have something to show people where it's like, oh, we did this whole thing for a while, and then we had to wait a whole year, almost a year and a half, to pick it up again. It might be the same thing right now between season 5 and 6, but hopefully not. But yeah, I think it is supposed to be capitalized. It's the way it's coming out for me. But yeah, if it's if you have any other issues, we'll try to redo it next time. But outside of that, I have fun with these, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, I'm gonna get this. Hold on, I've got to succeed at this, and then also I've got to pick somebody to raid on Rumble, and see if. So I got to go see who's streaming over there. Oh yeah, that works. Success. Okay,
Finally.
we got it. Finally, we got it. I think I didn't have the @ symbol on there. That was my problem.
Oh, okay. That's my issue because I didn't put that. So my bad.
It's working now. Great,
Perfect.
great. And now
follow me there
also-
if you guys want any science fiction, fantasy, or horror analysis, or just talk shop and chat.
And thank you to Dude Bro and God Bless for hanging out on the Rumble side and everybody lurking. So let's see who is streaming. I'm gonna check who my followers to pick somebody to send everybody to. Oh hey, let's see, which one should I pick? Oh wow, there are choices. Let's see. I think I want this one. Okay, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send to. Let's see how long they've been on. Yeah, they've only been on less than an hour. So I'm gonna send you to Dignified Cartoon Gentleman, who is currently live. And so that'll be where you guys, if you're on Rumble, head to. Right after this. Right there. Oops. I didn't copy it correctly. Patience for just a moment.
All good.
I've got to get to the chat here. So we can raid from the studio. So I'll raid from the studio. And that's set up. All I have to do is confirm it as we sign out. And so thanks, you guys. Oh, you just subscribed? Where did you? Oh, hey, Jamie subscribed to your channel, Phil.
Yep.
And so we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for
Thank you so
hanging
much.
out, and yeah, see you again soon.
Yeah, see you then.
Learn all that is learnable.
So I hope you learned something today.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
I enjoy hearing what you have to say. So leave me a comment.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
So let's continue creating conversations and ideas.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Share out the stream to bring more here. Bye for now. See you next time.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
Mischief managed. Otherwise anyone can read it.